How's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode with a full roster this time of No Excuses on YouTube.com with your favorite show hosts, Arstil.
Panarian.
And Vaul, and we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week. Yes, we're all finally here together again. And while I had a shitty week, it was not as exhausting as the last one, so I at least have a couple of brain cells to bring to the table.
This degenerate chocobo is ruining my shot.
Okay. Oh, you got that this week. I can show you what I got this week. Finally.
It's your degenerate chocobo.
No. I finally got this stupid thing.
Oh, nice.
The Palace of the Dead 12 million gil amount finally dropped.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get this stupid thing forever.
It's got a stupidly low drop rate, that thing.
What really bugged me was I'd run that place goodness knows how many times, crack who knows how many gold sacks. And it took Abo running it, his first set of gold sacks he ever got from the place. He gets a Nightmare Pegasus.
And he hates it too.
Yeah, he sold it. He didn't even use it.
Oh, you just get salty over that. Okay, I need to put my gun on.
I mean, I don't like them out much either, but it's the big prize from the gold sacks, and I wanted one in my collection.
Yeah.
But I like this mount much better. I like my glowy kitty.
Yeah, that is a cool kitty.
Yeah, if you clear it 4 times and get the accessories each time, she decides to step down from floor 70 and come be your mount.
Yeah, kitty.
I'm already tired of this batting.
Yeah.
And go back to what I was using before. That's about the only thing I got that is a lasting thing anyway. From that sodding place.
We'll talk about that probably during Vaul's week, and
we don't have much else to talk about week once.
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and eat my food and drag us in.
Carrots. Do I have any carrot pudding? Yes.
Very little left.
There's a new tier of food out, so carrot pudding is actually getting cheaper if you want to buy down.
Ooh,
it's steadily dropping in price. I imagine it'll bottom out about where it's at right now because supply will also drop. So we're continuing a run we started a few weeks ago at floor 41.
In the Rave Cave.
In the Rave Cave. Also dance partner.
Yeah, hold on, I'm eating.
Alright, so I guess we'll jump in, and yeah, I've got a couple of weeks to talk about, because I actually had a bit of time off, kind of. So, yeah.
Well, you were given the opportunity to be frantic about a different topic.
Yes, which is a nice change, I suppose.
You pulled Giga Chad.
Did I pull Giga Chad? Oh, hello, Giga Chad.
Giga Chad. Focus, Giga Chad.
Alright, hang on, we'll just deal with Giga Chad. There we go. So yeah, went away, the wedding happened, and it ended up being a very nice evening. There was a bit of family drama because of course there is, it's a wedding.
Because you gathered the family in one place.
Yes.
So, and with alcohol.
Alcohol. Surprisingly, they didn't burn through the bar tab.
What? There was bar tab left?
Yeah,
Oops,
quite a lot.
That was the wrong button. Oh, I don't have invulnerability for a while.
Not what I associate with Australia, I must say.
Or weddings in general, really. Yeah.
Alright, elbow drop. Don't be behind those guys.
Oh, right, that's right. We got those guys to do the elbow drop. So yeah,
kill the 5G tower. Get the 5G tower going.
Okay, there it goes. Alright, where was I? So yeah, it ended up being a good trip, and then I had a few days of just doing nothing while faffing about in Townsville. Which is, yeah. I mean, Townsville's one of those places which is just nice to do nothing in. Especially if you can go out onto the beach and do nothing.
I'm not really a beach person.
Yeah.
I'm not either, but my parents insisted on getting a beach condo, so I get to go there whenever I want.
More the
Which is
point,
never.
Townsville Beach is along the Strand there. That's where all the really nice eateries are. As long as you know you have expendable money, because they are all rather
A
pricey.
lot of expendable money because waterfront eateries are always
Yeah.
tourist traps, basically.
Basically, yeah.
For people who are either passing through or who really need to be seen at a particular location.
Yes. Where are we going? This way. But
All right, I don't care that much. We're leaving the floor.
oh, all right. Well,
I mean, that was my overwhelming impression the one time that I spent any amount of time in Melbourne was that when walking along the eateries on the waterfront, everyone was nah, not eating there.
Yeah. Oh wait, do we have an intuition up?
We do.
Alright.
Be
So-
careful in donut rooms. If we know
Yeah.
one side is safe, take the safe side.
Donut rooms are a crapshoot. Doesn't matter what you do, you're going to stand on something if you get unlucky.
Yeah, but if you hug one side and that one's K, use that side.
I'm starting to think that some of those traps start moving
I'm
when you
pretty
can't see them.
sure that I have walked directly in the path that you have followed before and hit a trap that you didn't hit.
Yes, it's happened multiple times. So yeah, that was a nice time. But we're a video game show, so allegedly. So the video game I played was, of course, the new Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom. It's Breath of the Wild, but more.
This is not a selling point for
More
me.
breathy or more wild?
Probably more wild. Yeah, Breath of the Wild, I don't mind the game. It wasn't a bad game, but ultimately it just felt very empty.
It's not really what I associate with a Zelda game.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm one of those people for whom the Zelda game is Ocarina of Time.
Yeah. Which is just... Damn it. See? It happened again. Yeah, Ocarina of Time is just open world enough. But ultimately, there's nothing there without purpose.
Yeah, it's like if anything, I feel like Ocarina of Time is the right amount of empty too, because a certain amount of emptiness is also part of Zelda, which is why they went so ham on it with Breath of the Wild, because they're sort of precedent. Like, I felt like compared to Hyrule, Termina was too busy.
Termina, as much as I liked Majora's Mask.
Oh my goodness, where did you find all of that?
What did you
I
do?
did it on purpose. I did it on purpose.
Okay.
We had a witching in the starting room, and I didn't want it to go to waste.
Oh, alright. Yeah, as much as I like Majora's Mask, as far as the story-wise goes, Majora's Mask is definitely one of the strongest. The world just didn't have the right feel to it. Or maybe it did, actually, because it always felt very claustrophobic.
I think it had a different feel to it than Zelda does. That was my objection. I don't think that it was bad in any strict sense. I think that it was just not what I associate with Zelda. There was a level of darkness and tension to it that you don't normally find in Zelda.
Yeah. And in a different way to Twilight Princess. Which
It felt like Bizarro Zelda to me, sort of.
Yeah. Admittedly, Twilight Princess for me has always been the weakest Zelda. Just saying, and that's going to get people's hackles up.
The most Zelda example of a Zelda game that I ever played was A Link to the Past.
Well, I mean,
That's the last one I remember playing seriously.
That's kind of the cop-out answer, though.
I mean, the SNES era was when I got a good chunk of my video gaming in, because that's when I was more cognizant as a child.
Yep. I'm going to really upset people here. My first Zelda experience wasn't actually a Zelda game. It was Golden Axe Warrior, which was Zelda, except you had an axe.
Instead of a sword.
Instead of a sword. Beyond that, everything was basically... It's Zelda, except Sega just palette swapped it. I mean, Golden Axe was never Zelda-like. It's always been a kind of a side-scrolly, hack-and-slashy thing. But for some reason, they made a Zelda clone, and it worked. Anywho, so Tears of the Kingdom, they reused the same map, and then just added to it. So you've got 3 layers of map now. You've got the sky layer, the regular layer, and the subterranean layer. Honestly, subterranean layer could go to hell. It's boring. It just exists. And once you've seen one little tiny part of it, you've seen the entire thing. It's just... Meh. And unless I'm missing something narratively, there's been no real cause to add it in there. It's just kind of there. But you go in there and you can... That's how you unlock a lot of the new technologies and stuff is in there.
Oh, hello, Mr. Iba.
Mr. Iber is going over there now.
He is. This is strong in there, Fern.
Okay, I'll go just pop a stone. Alright, you gonna grab that? Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and while to a degree you reusing the same map is lazy, which it is, they've changed it enough that it's basically an entire new experience. And they've actually put a lot of stuff in the map now. There is a lot of just stuff to find. And for the bits that are big and empty, you can go tear across them with your horse, or you can use new mechanics and build yourself a monster truck, and off you go that way.
Monster truck.
Yeah, so that's one of the big selling points, is the ability to pick up objects and glue them to each other. And some of these objects actually have a mechanical purpose, so you can build machines to do things. And if you look around on YouTube, people have done some really wacky stuff with it. Like Metal Gear Ray, for no apparent reason. Someone's just built that.
There's always sufficient reason to build a giant robot.
Exactly. Reason number 1, giant robot. You need no reason to.
Don't open that chest shut.
Oh, right, mimics, potentially. As we're in the silver zone. Okay.
All right, I can reach you without my dance without having to stand next to you.
Yes.
Fantastic.
Thank great for that. So yeah, the world feels a lot busier. There's more going on, and there's just generally more. So I'm happily forgive them for reusing the map because they've done that. Beyond that, mechanically, in a lot of ways, it's similar to Breath of the Wild. The combat mechanics are basically the same. They've reused a lot of the soundtrack as well, and all of that.
Well,
So,
people liked the soundtrack last time, so
it was... The soundtrack for me is weird. It's like 50% of it is great sweeping orchestral bits, which are fantastic, and then the other half is someone dropped their instruments down the stairs.
well, there's always been sort of a streak of that in Zelda games.
There has. What are we doing? Oh, you're being sneaky. Okay.
But again, I feel like Ocarina of Time was sort of like the idealized version of the Zelda score as well.
Yeah. Although Hyrule Warriors basically took that same score and then made it rock, which was awesome.
Yeah, I feel like that's generally the way to go with these things. Like, if you're going to make a game where, like, you're going to essentially do the same map again, you might as well use the same score again and remix it a bit. Just using this exact same score seems a bit lazy.
Yeah.
You could just do a new arrangement would be nice. Like, goodness knows, Final Fantasy XIV has about 5 songs in it. But the arrangements are also diverse that it doesn't really matter that they're so similar. There's so many different, so few different actual, themes, as it were.
Yeah, it's usually like one theme per expansion and then 2 or 3 for characters. Nah, that's about it. But yeah, I think they'd hit on a kind of a working formula in a bare bones form for Breath of the Wild, and now they've just basically built on that.
Yeah, I hope that it doesn't become a trend though, because I mean it's not that unusual for Zelda games to be paired.
Yeah.
Apart from like, actually I can't think of many examples that aren't paired in one way or another with another one. But usually they keep it to 2.
Yeah,
and they don't do another one quite like. In fact, the only one I think that isn't like offhand that I think doesn't have a clone with it, like a similar iteration, a similar take, is probably Twilight Princess. I don't think they ever did another one that was exactly the same.
No, they didn't. Like, Wind Waker had Phantom Hourglass and Spirit Tracks. Ocarina of Time, of course, had Majora's Mask. Skyward Sword... Skyward Sword, I think, also is a standalone.
Yeah, so there are a few, but what I'm mainly driving at is that they usually don't latch on to one thing and do it over and over again like some developers do.
Yeah. Actually, Skyward Sword, I suppose Hyrule Warriors would probably fill that niche.
Yeah, in
Narratively,
that sense, I'm sort of willing to let them get away with a bit of asset reuse because I know that they're based on history, they're not likely to stretch it too far.
Yeah. And especially when you had such a huge empty map, taking that same map and just putting stuff in it, it works. One thing I think is so far still weak on the game, and that is the temples. I've only done one so far, and I'm not sure if it's just because of the way the thing's laid out. I did the Wind Temple, and you spend a good maybe 2 hours just climbing up to the thing. The temple itself is like, go press these 5 buttons. That'll take you maybe 10 minutes. Then fight the boss, which I'm 90% sure can't actually hurt you.
Well, that's a problem that a lot of Zelda bosses have.
Yeah.
The bosses historically have just been too easy.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I remember when they re-released the Ocarina of Time one, they zhuzhed up the bosses a little bit.
They did.
I'm not quite sure exactly what they did, but the Ocarina of Time bosses were notoriously trivial. That's the big flaw with that game, I think.
Yeah, they fixed the fish boss, which is just awful. But yeah, that boss was just completely harmless. Honestly, I don't think. Oh, I can't interrupt, by the way.
I'll be fine. This one's stunnable.
Yep.
I'm just gonna wait.
But yeah, this boss. It's
and
just
we got 3 purities.
it's a big sky snake ice lizard thing. You just dive through the rings and you break the ice and it dies.
Sky snake ice lizard
thing. Yes. Hold on. We have shinies. So that thing was absolutely trivial. And the dungeon itself, once you got there, it was trivial. I am still finding the balancing off of, like, the dungeon bosses are easy, especially that one. But I'm still getting one shot by stuff in the overworld. So
you're not like exploring an in-game zone or something, are you?
I think I might be, because like I run through areas with like the red and the blue bokoblins in them, or red and blue enemies, and like they're no trouble at all. But then I run into the black ones, and they will eat my lunch.
All of your lunch.
All of my lunch. Apparently there's also white ones, possibly other ones above them as well. Another big gripe about Breath of the Wild was lack of enemy diversity. Like, you had bokoblins, you had moblins, you had lizards, and that was about it.
Huh.
Yeah, it was...
So many old classics that they could have brought back.
Yeah. So they've done
like,
that.
If you're going to just reuse concepts, there's not like there's a shortage of them throughout Zelda's history you can just put back in.
Yeah. Like, you've got Octoroks and all of that still around, but they brought back a really old mob from some of the oldest ones, which is the killer trees. And from a distance, you can't actually tell that they're a killer tree until they stand up and try to murder you. They're absolutely trivial, but they can get the jump on you. They're also immune to bludgeoning attacks, so there's that as well.
Okay, that's the exit.
Excuse me. I've actually also been... I caught a cold while I was out as well, which has been fun. So yeah, it's a good time, and I think it's just a generally massive improvement over Breath of the Wild. That said, there is a lot of fun you can just have by doing things the hard way for no real reason, especially when you start playing with the building system. Like
Yeah,
one of
I'm
the
thinking about Breath of the Wild though, like, because what I'm contemplating is like, well, I mean, Breath of the Wild never seemed like a very good game to me.
Hmm.
That's why I was not really interested in playing it. And I'm wondering if the reason why that's broadly unacknowledged is because it sort of benefited from like streaming in a way other Zeldas hadn't.
yeah.
So it got more attention than previous
Oh.
Zeldas by means of a method that was not available before.
Maybe, yeah.
Because it really just doesn't stand out to me as being a great Zelda game. It's certainly novel compared to others, but it's very stream friendly in a way other ones historically haven't really been.
Yes. So
Yeah, so I'm thinking that that's probably what's behind it. Because I think that in another era it would have gone down as an interesting but overall unremarkable Zelda entry.
yeah. Like they did some cool things, like the story's okay, I guess. You get a lot of it out of order though, which is really kind of annoying.
But the thing that always stuck out to me was how underwhelming the temples were.
Yeah, the temples were just there.
Like the again, I'm going to keep bringing up Ocarina of Time. I felt like the temples in Ocarina of Time were what Zelda temples should be.
Yeah.
Apart from maybe the water temple, because the water temple was just a bit of a headache.
Water temple can. There's a special place in hell for the people who made the water temple, but beyond that, the temples are very strong in Ocarina of Time. Even Skyward Sword did temples well. Instead of being very narrow, claustrophobic puzzle fests, though, a lot of them were very big and open and sweeping.
Oh, he's still bloody puddles.
Uh-oh.
I don't remember what that is.
Do not stun him out of the gallop. He's still bloody puddles.
He's still bloody puddles. I got
I'll go
squished.
get the I got the res Karen up already, and we're already cleared to it. I'll go
Yep,
get it.
just go press the button.
Had to.
So, yeah. Those things are nasty.
Yes, the temples, from what I saw of people playing, because the Breath of the Wild, is that they were just very sort of, they didn't have a lot of innate character,
No.
or rather individually they didn't have a lot of innate character. They all looked like a Breath of the Wild temple rather than the forest temple, the fire temple, the water temple.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like pockmarks on the landscape, from what I could tell as well. It wasn't like, oh well, the forest temple is like, this is the place that you ultimately find when you delve really deeply into the Lost Woods, or the Shadow Temple, I think, is the best example, because I know I was a dumb kid at the time, but the idea that, oh well, actually one of the temples is right on top of this village I've spent all this time in so far in the game,
Yeah.
and it's just there. I just never knew about it, and like that sort of thing adds a sort of degree of character to them that's not evident in Breath of the Wild, because in Breath of the Wild a temple is just this weird ruin on the landscape.
Not even a ruin, it's a giant weird robot.
Well, yeah,
With-
but
And
I think of them as ruins, because they're usually not moving until you fire them up right, so
Yeah.
they're just sort of ruins.
And there's the little shrines, the baby challenges everywhere that just are kind of
There.
a random gimmick puzzle inside.
And they
Often
don't
a
feel
repeated one.
very organic.
Yeah, that
Like,
unfortunately
they-
continues.
It's not like a natural thing on the landscape that when you tool around with it. Oh, there's a Kelpie coming, by the way.
Okay,
When you tool around with it,
remove this
it
one, man.
happens to reward you for the investigation, which is that's the sort of the way you want it to play out, as opposed to, oh well, this thing is obviously conspicuously a puzzle for you to solve.
Yeah. It's also, here's your fast travel points as well, which is another issue they haven't really fixed. You can, however, there's a few quests that you can go get which actually give you a really good horse, but horses don't fast travel with you.
Well, you leave them behind,
You leave them behind.
huh? You can't like call them again or something.
Nope. Actually, the whistle range for horses is rather small, and if they get stuck in terrain, which had happened once, and that was mostly my own stupid fault, then yeah, you're not getting it out of there. It just stays there. You got to go to the stable to recall it.
So they ain't no Skyrim horses.
They are not. You can, a little way into the game, you get the ability to basically save a blueprint of a device that you've made, and you can then just summon your monster truck if you want to that way, as long as you've got the resources to do it.
He is likely going to bloody puddle as soon as he gets out of that.
Yeah,
I can interrupt it once.
that's okay. That should be enough.
Okay,
Yeah.
if you interrupt the gallop, he doesn't bloody puddle. But if you stun him during bloody puddle or after the gallop, he's going to bloody puddle anyway, and you can't stop him.
Right. Okay, so yeah, the restrictions on summoning your monster truck, though, or as I've built basically a little hovercraft which goes zoomies, is you're restricted by a battery you're carrying around. And that battery power does not last very long at all, especially, and it also drains faster depending on how many devices you've got running at the same time. So early game, your monster truck is not viable.
You should not bloody puddle. Fucking Kukulkan's going to follow me all the way over here to Bombinate, isn't he? Yeah, jackass.
Yes. It's probably not until endgame that actually using a vehicle becomes viable. At that point, you've already got all the fast travel points anyway, so it's like, eh.
Well, so long as it's fun, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's fine. And that's where I'm getting a lot of joy out of it. Is there's a lot of physics puzzles which are based around attaching things and using devices in interesting ways. Which honestly,
yeah, the thing is, it doesn't sound very Zelda because it all sounds like, oh, you're doing a thingy to the widget on the gadget, as opposed to, oh well, there is this weird temple with weird ruins inside that you have to interact with in an organic way. Like, if it's conspicuously a widget, that doesn't seem very Zelda to me. That's like, conspicuous widgets are more sort of a Metroid thing.
Yeah.
It comes off. I get a different vibe. It comes off very Banjo-Kazooie nuts and bolts.
I didn't really play Banjo-Kazooie, so
not awful. Thankfully.
Well, it's just a whole lot of things that are not Zelda in a Zelda game. Like, there's a whole bunch of stuff that is not Banjo in a Banjo game.
You know, the thing is, I don't want to come off like I'm saying, oh, every Zelda game has to be the same. It has to play out the same set of tropes and that. It's just that I feel like they have lost more than they've gained in certain ways. I mean, I guess that's what exploring ways of doing things is about. Like, occasionally you're going to, take one step forward and two steps back. But, yeah, I feel like they're repeating things that were not necessarily great ideas at times. But, I mean, so long as they're iterating on it, that's fine. As long as they're seeing, oh, well, this was a little bit of a shortcoming. I wonder if we can sort of, like, gussy this up a little bit. But yeah, I don't know. It's what I'm driving at in the final event is from what I heard about this game, it hasn't inspired me to get it in a way that Breath of the Wild didn't inspire me to get it. Like, it hasn't changed the calculus, manner of speaking.
Yeah, I was skeptical going into it, and honestly, if you really did not like Breath of the Wild, you're not going to like this. For me,
I think I want a very specific thing from Zelda.
Yeah.
Like, for me, Darksiders is more of a Zelda game than Breath of the Wild is.
Yeah. Well, the first one was anyway.
Well, yeah, I'm not talking about Darksiders 2. Darksiders 2 has some issues.
It's got
plentiful
shit. It's an MMO.
Yeah, but like Darksiders 1 definitely. Oh, I got a doggo. Darksiders 1 definitely feels like a Zelda game. Like, it plays out like a Zelda game. It has the type of story that a Zelda game has. I can't line of sight, can I? No.
Oh, I'm so dead.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no, the dog got confused.
You're good. Okay, Mudman down.
Okay, so I got stunned as well, because I was distracted. And the doggo got confused trying to do his follow-up attack that one-shot you. I'm not sure what his deal was. It's like I broke line of sight, but a microsecond after the stun went, or something.
Yeah. Alright, so that's the man in the game, although I will have to...
room.
I will have to say there is a certain appeal in solving as many puzzles as possible with the correct application of a trebuchet.
Okay, come here, dog.
Well, yeah, I mean, trebuchets are dope. There's not really any getting away from that.
I mean, yeah, there's one of the recurring puzzles, which is basically get one of the little Korok guys from point A to point B. Usually you need to use a vehicle for that. If the destination's on the other side of the river and they've given you a bunch of wood,
I was trying to hide behind something that didn't block line of sight.
It didn't work.
Welcome to the rave cave. The res thing should be nearby. We probably don't.
Yeah, we should be able to get that.
We just got a couple gaboos in the way.
Why do they use the rave cave again? Didn't they learn from Palace of the Dead?
Apparently not. Or they just like to screw with people. There is a very
in my
reason for that.
Other than administrator, in my opinion, the worst thing about the Eureka Orthos is how much of the level set is just rave cave.
40 freaking floors of rave cave.
It's just nobody likes rave cave, and with good reason.
Don't trust the crystals. The crystals are a lie.
Yeah, you got to look for the rocky notches in the wall.
Yeah, I'm just gonna ignore the crystals in future like that. Instinctively, it seems like something that blocks line of sight because you know if you were trying to shoot through it, you wouldn't be allowed.
Yes.
But Harambe
monsters
can totally get you through it.
Harambe can get you through anything that he wants.
Harambe
goes where Harambe pleases.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
Oh, it's just Kukulkan.
You've got a cheese puff.
Okay. No.
Okay, you gotta
I
burst him
avoided
down.
cheap puff.
My burst should be enough.
That's right, we got him. I was in burst phase anyway. Yeah.
I mean, laying aside the fact that the biggest obstacle between me and a Zelda game is the amount of time I have to play games, and the second biggest obstacle is the fact that my backlog exists.
Yes.
It's just it doesn't tug on the nostalgia rope hard enough for me.
Yeah.
Because when I want to come back to the Zelda franchise, I want it to be like indisputably Zelda.
Yeah. If you want to scratch that itch, you've got Tunic out, I would think, now, which will do that if you want the really old school Zeldas.
I'm not a furry.
There is that. It's basically Link, except now he's a fox. He's even dressed the same. Because, guys, you're not even trying it. Not even trying to hide it.
Oh, that fucking Kukulkan is coming to fucking bum and...
You've dropped 3 F-bombs so far this show. We've barely started.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like Kukulkan. You know what? We don't gotta pull him, but I don't care.
Just screw you, bird. Alright, as far as other stuff goes, bit of anime. Still been going on Demon Slayer. Just about to the end of the first season. I just did the Spider Forest arc. And yeah, it's still holding up. It's still good so far. I haven't hit the new stuff yet, which is Mugen Train.
The forest arc is almost as much a shonen thing as the tournament arc. I feel like there's always a forest arc.
Like, we're doing a thing in a forest. Just deal with it.
Yeah, there's nearly always a forest arc, except in Bleach, where you spend all your time in the desert instead.
Yes.
But
you spend all your time in Mexico.
Yes. Or Naruto,
yeah, no, I say potato, you say potato. Although nobody says potato.
I'm going to start saying potato just to mess with people.
But yeah, it's very much a thing that gets done over and over again. Oh, now they're in the forest and there's trees everywhere and it's sort of gloomy and oppressive.
Yeah.
It seems to be the dumb thing.
Either that, or it's either the gloomy and oppressive thing and everything is spoopy, or they're competing against some other guys to do a thing. Which
will usually involve some spoopy and depressive part of the forest anyway. So
yes.
But yeah, it very much seems to be a trope. But I feel like it was executed very well in Demon Slayer. Not in a particularly groundbreaking fashion like most of it, but just they bring it to a next level with the production values, basically.
Oh yeah. The production values, particularly for the climax of that arc, is just beautiful. The other really good thing I like about Demon Slayer is it doesn't really let any grass grow under it. It's constantly moving. The pacing is just bang, bang, bang.
Yeah, well, I mean, the only critique I would have on that count is the sheer number of times they end up in hospital.
Yeah.
At least it only lasts like an episode or two.
Yeah, they usually don't drag it out too far, but the thing is that there are enough hospital episodes to make up an entire arc on its own.
All right, I'm pulling that dog back into this room.
Okay.
Pulling him into this corner over here.
Yeah, take him over there. I'm gonna go line aside him over here. I got rocks. Bye.
These real rocks made of rock, not crystals made of candy floss.
And lies. Alright, so that's...
Stupid Kukulkan coming over here to bombinate in the hallway.
Yes.
I have no idea what their trigger is. One of these days I'm going to figure it out.
Spite.
If you're just in the ballpark of these mofos, they just will meander all the way into the hallway to come bombinate you.
Yep.
Yeah, they can smell the potential rage.
I just want some demi-clones.
No
such thing.
You want mimics.
That's why I've been clearing all the floors. I just want some demi-clones.
There you go. That's not a demi-clone, that's a mimic still. Oh yeah, so that's basically been my weeks. I did a whole lot of nothing, honestly. Which was, novel and in and of itself. Stupid Kukulkans. Yeah. It's a reminder that you should actually have holidays sometimes. Yeah.
That's not the vibe I'm getting from my workplace.
No.
The vibe I'm getting is you should never do anything but work ever.
Yes. Mind you,
We got a doggy. We're fighting doggy right here.
We are? Okay. I'm not so sure on these rocks, but alright. All that works.
Yeah, I had my burst face up. We were good.
Yeah, I gave him a starfall to the dome.
Yeah. So yeah, in typical fashion, of course, I got home and it was like, I got off the plane and it's, by the way, you're working tonight. So, that was fun, and then immediately into Drunk Cowboy weekend, so, yeah.
Okay, now we don't got
Double Kukulkan.
Double cool.
Just you try and bominate now.
Alright, Vaul, have you done any nerdy stuff this week?
No.
No.
I haven't. That's just how it be. I've got horrible lag, by the way. Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is... Yeah, I do have my IP tunnel. No, I'm just lagging like a boss. Fantastic. It's barely functional. Great. Well, I hope you guys can take care of yourselves, because the numbers are coming up very slowly for me.
Oh dear. That's ominous.
Like, this is super, super laggy. I'm just going to stand on the exit until my ping stabilizes, because it's terrible. Yeah, so I haven't done very much. The cooldown period was this week basically for the audit, and thank goodness that all the stuff that went wrong this week waited until the audit was over, because boy was it a mess. With lots of people deciding to call in sick, or some variant on call in sick, such as just sort of decide that you're leaving and walking out or whatever because something family emergency that I'm not going to describe anything more about.
Did you just get double cheese puffed?
No, I got single cheese puffed because I interrupted this one.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so work was kind of a mess this week as well, and we had clients deciding that we've had a couple of customers who have had some poor results lately, and they have reacted to this by sending a huge amount of work without warning.
Oh, because that's going to make things better.
Yeah, so that messed up a lot of things, and we're running out of stock on a lot of things as a result of sort of sudden increases in work, like bringing a week and a half's worth of work in a day, sort of thing, which I'm not prepared for. Because the thing with microbiological consumables is that a lot of them have a limited shelf life, and if you stock for emergencies, you're going to end up throwing a lot of that stuff away, and it's very expensive. So
Strong.
yeah, I'm sort of caught between a rock and a hard place at the moment as far as that's concerned. I can't seem to quite get it right. Oh well, it's just that's one of the.
I dipped.
You popped a steel.
I
This
popped a
is
steel.
At least steel's worthless.
Alright, hang on. Okay, now try it.
Yeah, so I had a bit of a rough week again, but I mean it happens sometimes. I'm hoping things will normalise. I've already sort of felt a certain amount of psychological benefit from the audit not being coming anymore. Like, I've got a lot of corrective actions that need doing, but they are all like, most of them are very specific goals which will have particular solutions once I develop them, which is an easier thing intellectually to cope with than the ambiguous spectre of an upcoming audit.
The worst is now behind you.
Yeah, potentially, yes.
Potentially.
I mean, the audit has opened some cans of worms that, I honestly would have preferred had stayed closed because they weren't really causing any problems. But ultimately, I hope we come out of it better off once everything's done. That's the plan, anyway. But yeah, so it's been a bit of a chaotic week because there's a lot of things that would have been vying for my attention during audit week that I couldn't spare the attention to. But hopefully things will normalise over time. Generally speaking, I felt that it went pretty well considering the circumstances overall. I personally got a good review from the audit. I mean, that doesn't help me because it's the lab that they're there to audit. But generally speaking, my own ability and my team's ability were all appraised as being extraordinarily good. It's just that a lot of the basically we were diagnosed as having two main issues. Number one is a severe hangover from the previous management's mismanagement, and
that's an understatement.
And number two, in something that they actually issued as a corrective action, being comically under-resourced for the amount of work we were attempting to do, specifically in terms of manpower. So basically, in short, it's not a problem they can ignore anymore.
Yeah.
Because there's like an official corrective action from a government department. Because IANZ is the accreditation body, but they're essentially a government department and function. Saying that you need to hire more people because you're trying to stretch too few people too far. What you're doing is ridiculous based on what we know about all the other labs that we audit.
Yeah. So they can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah, this is an official directive from the accreditation body saying that you're doing it wrong. Be better.
Fix your shit.
But yeah, unfortunately, I'm still going to be the one responsible for writing the report on how we've fixed it, and the particulars of that corrective action are kind of vague in what the deliverables should look like. So I'm not really sure exactly how I'm going to deal with that. Because, I mean, I can only hire people when people that meet with my approval apply. So, and I have, relatively high standards. Mm-hmm. I am, I still hire bad people from time to time, but that's because I'm easy to lie to. Like, if somebody tries to finesse me by being subtly dishonest, I will call them on it immediately. But I'm extremely weak at people telling me lies point blank to my face. Because unfortunately, I'm one of those who would go on the internet and just lie like that type people. Who have difficulty picking up lies that are told completely po-facedly.
Mm-hmm. He's safe to
I just can't tell.
Alright, left side, right side, dragon in, ram out.
Oh, chimeras.
Oh, it's a chimera, is it? I didn't even realise we were coming up to a boss stage.
But he's just a chimera doing chimera things, so...
I'm gonna die because I haven't been paying enough attention to what's going on.
In then out.
All right. And Chimera doing Chimera things. Is he gonna go left now?
Yeah.
Oop.
Nope. It's
Ah.
going to go out then in. So Vol needs to dash away and then get ready to dash back in.
Okay, that's out. So I went way too far.
You really just strictly confused me with that attempt at giving me assistance. Like, I was all ready to do it correctly, and then I thought that I was wrong because you told me.
And that was just me not paying attention.
I don't
Cacophony
know what
ball.
cacophony is.
Ball will chase you, and then after the ball explodes, after a while, it'll do a left or right breath. Oh, I got clipped by the
Okay, there we
by the
go.
ball.
All right.
Okay, it's gonna be
Yeah.
in then out on me.
What's with the Joey Wheeler noises, man?
Yeah.
Out, 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 out.
Too slow.
No, I can't. I can't.
Oh, could I be any further to his left?
Apparently not. Because, yeah, what the hell happened there? You just ran away and dropped dead.
Out then in.
Don't you get that far.
Are you freaking kidding me?
I always overrun the ice on purpose.
I
The ice-
overran it. I overran it by about 20 yalms. Like I had hit the barrier on his left-hand side. I could not have run any further.
I got balls.
The many vicissitudes of playing with terrible latency.
Yeah.
Sometimes there's just nothing to be done. My latency is particularly bad today, evidently.
Yeah. When, even on my other people's screen, it looks like you're just dropping dead in the middle of nowhere. Yeah, no, it's bad.
Right. So you did one other thing this week, Vol, at least.
Yes, in order to kill some time, basically, we continued that the run that we did through Palace of the Dead on the show last week, and we kept going, and we kept going, and kept going, and kept going until we clowned it up pretty severely, which is eventually what happened.
Yeah. Well, we got almost all the way there. Floors, the 190s were new territory for me. So, Fern, there's
There's
a
Oh,
mimic
there's a
over here if you want to help us kill it.
There's a different kind of tension in there. Like, I was not sure how it would feel because I'm mainly accustomed to Eureka Orthos, which has a very distinct type of tension associated with the dangers, the very particular dangers presented by each of the mobs. Whereas it feels a bit different in Palace of the Dead. Like, it's almost like the sense of danger is more smeared out across an entire floor rather than localized on particular monsters. The sort of the sense is that anything can kill you, but it will be less. What kills you will be less discreet, less easy to quantify. It will be more of a. You're more likely to die to a series of muck-ups than one particular catastrophic error, which is what tends to happen in Eureka Orthos. And there's a lot more stuff that is just no. This is just a no-go. Don't even try it.
Mm.
Yeah. There's like flood dragons, or if you don't have a full party, don't pull these.
These guys had Diamondback? Was it these guys?
Yeah, they'll.
Is it physical resist or something?
Nope. It's a physical ice spikes.
Reflects.
Right.
Yeah. There's one, and there's a shark. I'm
Shark.
trying to nab the shark. I'm not gonna try and nab the shark. Actually, I want this
Was it-
stupid Ymir
Was
out
it
of the way.
stunnable? Was it stunnable? I don't even remember if it was
I
stunnable.
think so.
It's
I'll
interruptible.
try. No, it's not.
What was? Was I thinking something
No,
different?
it's only stunnable. It's not interruptible,
Right.
and it's a very fast cast. So do not count on me interrupting it.
Or we can just burn it down first.
Well, no, I stunned at that time because
Yeah,
lethargy
it's
on.
the first thing that it uses.
Ah.
I'm gonna wait on at least one of these sharks. But yeah, Palace is a different can of worms than Greek Orthos. When you're going in there, you're on the lookout for specific mobs, and just your goal is just don't pull these. And you have a pull order of how dangerous certain mobs are to pull.
Yeah, because you're really looking to spend your time like currency in there. Like, I have this amount of time that I can spend in here, and these are the mobs that I can reasonably kill in that time. Let's seek and destroy those ones and ignore all these other ones because it'll be too costly to even attempt them. Like,
Yeah,
there's a lot more time economy taking place in a much more sort of granulated way than you tend to have in Orthos, where while there's a certain amount of that, for the most part, anything that you choose to kill, you can kill.
Get away from that thing. No traps. No traps. No traps.
Nice.
Um,
Let's just quickly get this room marked. There we go.
There's nothing in there. There's a shark in the hallway in front of us, but he's got lethargy, so we should be okay. Oh no. My controller started doing its controller thing.
What?
Can't remember, was this line of sightable?
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to line this. You have to line of sight this normally. He's got lethargy, so he's going to be at it a while. You might want to just stay put.
He got bored and turned around. That's very anticlimactic on my screen.
Okay. Just pop this snail off.
But yeah, it's certainly a different feeling down there in the bowels of Palace of the Dead to what you get in Eureka Orthos. I think I still like Eureka Orthos a lot better.
Yeah.
Most of the time Eureka Orthos feels less unfair when something goes wrong, because it's like, well, except for the latency issues, it's just like, oh well, I done goofed and that's why I died.
Yeah,
Whereas in Palace of the Dead, it's like, oh really, that's what you're sending my way? What possible solution could there be to that?
Yeah, if you get 3 floors that are just flood dragons between you and the exit, and you don't got the rages for it, I mean, that's just all.
There's nothing you can do.
Alright, one moment, I just need to go detach the cat from the window.
What? That's interesting. But yeah, it's still, I still enjoyed it. It's disappointing to get that far and then get wrecked, especially when it feels like, well, I mean, there is definitely a very finite number of good solutions to the problem that we encountered.
Yeah, we know what to try and save next time. I underestimated.
Yeah, it's not so much that, oh well, we need to try a different tack. It's like we need to value certain things differently, because it can get a lot worse than what we thought was already bad.
Yeah, it's just the
Okay.
conga lines are no joke when you get that deep. And the last 3 floors in particular, 97 to 99, we were not ready for the conga line. And we had a DPS healer comp. You can take a tank in there and make that much more manageable, but we didn't. Well, Fern, you're going to get yourself killed.
That's fine.
Oh. Okay. Oh, goody, a fortune. I'll take a fortune.
Pushing good.
Yeah, I think that having the healer there just sort of like, it stabilizes a lot of other things that could go poorly. Like, it's not like you need to be there casting heals specifically 99% of the time, but it serves as sort of like a buffer against spikes.
Yeah,
Particularly because crit is so important in Palace of the Dead compared to Eureka Orthos.
yeah, mobs can't crit in Eureka Orthos. They just can't.
But a couple of badly placed crits can send a normal pull very sharply south in Palace of the Dead.
I'm getting rid of this thing because I don't like sprites. I always forget about them and they explode. So you might want to get on the other side of it, Vaul, so you don't have to wait on it.
Okay.
But yeah, it's when you have a DPS in there as the one holding aggro, it's not too bad because if you got a healer, because the DPS, if the DPS is the one that's running a lot, they're gonna have a lot of sustaining potions, and you never run out of sustaining potions in Palace. You go net positive no matter what you do, because there's so many dang floors of that place. Ooh, nee. Meh. That and they're all in the higher fragment drop tiers, so you always go shard positive in there. You'll have plenty of pot shards to buy potions with. And having a healer there makes a lot of mobs that would be pretty dangerous only slightly dangerous. Like, there is potential for disaster here on a double crit, but you'd have to already be missing some health levels of dangerous. There are a lot of fortunes on this floor.
Not gonna argue about that too much.
I am, because I want a third dread and more raisins.
Yeah. Onion Knight would go
Cast.
well. I'm used to
There we go. But yeah, I like Palace probably the second best out of them, just because Heaven on High is completely RNG from my experience. How well it goes. Like,
I mean, maybe that will be ameliorated because you haven't really spent a lot of time in there since you got really good at Eureka Orthos, and that seems to have changed the way you look at certain things.
Yeah, it's I like doing Eureka Orthos the most right now because there's a very clear progression line here where I can stop and see what's killing us, what's causing problems, and we can work on a solution to it, or I can make adjustments to my play to compensate for things that I think are going to be dangerous for you guys. Like these things, I'm intentionally just pulling it and sitting on my GCD so I can shield bash it.
Yep.
So I can do stuff to mitigate potential dangers in here because the mechanics are what's lethal. In Palace, that's not the case. Palace it's just stuff that's just going to punch you really, really, really hard.
Sometimes you just
you have a feeling when you're in there like you're just sort of like slowly dying the entire time you're in there. And there's not really anything that you can do about it. You just have to hope that you are going to be able to recuperate at the same pace that you're dying. Because everything is dangerous. Even the things that are considered to be free kills will still kill you if you're not on your toes.
Yeah, if you're trying to solo that place, I don't know why I pulled this thing.
Just gets it out of the way.
But well, we didn't need to go in that room at all.
Nope. No. Him's dead.
But yeah, if you're soloing that place, Palace though, you really got two options for most people that are not crazy. The first option is you can play Red Mage, and you have a bit more sustain and with a Vercure, and a few more options in cast that you can use and where you can place your burst damage. Oh goodness, I can't stun this thing. Oh boy, somebody's dead.
Right, you're in there.
Is this enough?
That should be
If
enough.
you're arranged as class, so you can mash the attack button and see when it says target not in line of sight.
Oh, right.
That, yeah, sometimes works. Oh, another one.
Yeah, I see it. Come here, shark.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a very clear line of sight now.
Yeah, the problem with that, though, is sometimes you're not allowed to attack through a wall, but they are.
Yeah,
Because it sees where you are. It sees you where you are on the server, and you see where you are on your client.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's not necessarily going to play fair.
but it's not going to play fair. But you're gonna at least know the spot you stopped in was line of sighted.
For someone, yes.
But yeah, if so, you can take the red mage route. You have a little bit more versatility. You have a heal, which is a big deal in there. It lets you much more consistently do the careful that thing's going to blow up.
Yeah, just wait for it.
But it gives you hard cast time.
Yeah, but every other cast has to be a hard cast, and kiting on red mage is way harder. And for some mobs, this is just a problem. My OGCD stun is gone.
That bar filled all the way up. I wasn't sure if you got it or not.
Yeah, I didn't. I didn't sit on my GCD stun for that one because I was talking. But yeah, the ooh, I can storm south the next room. Do not do anything.
Forgot to apply close position. Forgot we changed the floor set.
Get out of the rave cave. Oh, there you go.
Don't go in there.
No, there's exploding. Okay, we're good now. That's another steal.
There we go. Okay, yeah, and so that's the drawback of playing red mage. The big draw of red mage is the behemoth boss. He has a burst phase under 15%, where he will just chain drop back to back ecliptic meteors that do 90% of your HP and damage, max HP. So
Ouch.
they will kill you. And with red mage, you can cure with a sustaining potion back to full HP and have enough time to weave in 2 offensive casts plus your off globals. So you can kill him while sustaining yourself and not have to worry about the enrage. The other method, and is the one I've been putting more time into,
I'm gonna grab
is the you go ahead and do that. The other method, which is the one I've been putting more time and effort into doing, is the mech method. Mech right now at level 60 has the best burst damage of any of the classes, and just the best in general damage while still being able to kite shit. Because if you're playing a ranged DPS class, you need to be able to kite, and you need to be able to kite pretty good. And mech has all the tools for it, while still having a good amount of burst damage to blow up Behemoth. And you basically have, with a hyper potion, you've got 3 meteors to kill him, and they are 9-second casts. So you've got 27 seconds to do 15% of his HP, and that's just easier on some classes than others. Now the drawback playing mech is you don't have a heal.
Nope.
You've got your potion,
You got
and you've
wind.
got
That's
yeah,
it.
you've got second wind, your hyper potion, arm's length, and tactician, and that's it. You don't even have dismantle at level 60.
Nope. Which is yeah.
So I just want to get these guys out of this room so we have a place to run if anything comes to eat us.
I just really flubbed that. I can't believe I pressed those buttons like that.
Fortunately, when we got up to Behemoth, we were able to do both strategies at once. So
Yeah, Vaul managed to output more healing than I thought he would. And, no, I'm shark
You're
food.
a shark shop.
But, we were able to burst him down within 2 meteors with 2 people there. Just even if the other person is just a healer, the extra DPS takes a whole lot of pressure off that fight. So yeah, having Vaul there made it so the Behemoth was pretty much a non-issue. The bomb guy also wasn't too big of a threat, other than his auto attacks, which hit like a Mack truck on steroids. That boy hit hard. And there were many times with me trying to put distance between me and him just to get an extra sustaining potion tick. But yeah, you can do him on mech too. Mech actually has an easier time on that fight than red mage because they can keep further away from the boss and space out his double autos. But red mage has it pretty rough on that one because they've got to take the double autos pretty much every time they're up. When he slows you, just start running. It does not matter what direction you run, just be running. So yeah, that's that was that for those. The prior bosses are, they're until floor 170. You're not really in too much trouble in there. So, oh, I'm shark food. I'll be very happy when we're out of the shark area, so I can actually focus on talking. Because sharks require brain work.
As do mimics, sort of.
Well, not really, but
Requires me to stop and pay attention is all.
yeah, I just have to watch for the one cast and be sure it gets interrupted.
Alright, there we go.
Hyper potion. So yeah. Until floor 170, you're not really in trouble, especially with a group. It can get a little dicey before then with some of the earlier floors solo, but you're not really going to run into any major problems until 170, and then you're at the mercy of a combination of RNG and how well you can kite or just mitigate damage. And a whole lot of it's RNG, because we actually got fairly fortunate and did not get too many treasure rooms blocking the exit or something stupid. It could have gone a whole lot worse for us.
But you only need one. That's the thing.
Yes.
Yeah, you only need one when you ain't got the resources to deal with it, and that's all she wrote. So,
That's a witching, okay.
So yeah, I guess I'll grab y'all a pot shard.
I'm not gonna say no more pot shards. Could do without that though.
I've actually been using my hyper potions without restocking them, so I'm working my way back up. I was at a full stack of them, and now I'm down to 763 because we reuse them in Palace a lot too, because they're the go-to potion.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they heal basically the same amount as the potion that you get in Palace.
Yeah,
so
I think it's a very slight amount more, but not enough to make a difference.
It's like, I think it's like 2 digits difference sort of thing.
It's
It's not very much.
But yeah, it's what I got in my bag, so it's what gets used. And it's what's on the hotbar. And I already have to do enough hotbar shuffling.
Oh, why did we go around
Using
that
traps. Oh, because I wanted to check the chest.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there's a witching in there if I step on a luring trap.
There's a lot of witchings around this floor.
But yeah, it was interesting time going through it. I had never seen
get all the way there, so now we've got to go back down and do it again.
Yeah, but I did get my Nightmare Pony, and you got your
Ugly barding.
You got your ugly barding, but more importantly, you got your time worn artifacts, except for 2 of them.
Yeah, well, 3. I need 3 more. And that's really my main motivation for going down there is time worn artifacts, because I don't like Party Finder. I don't like spending time putting together a group for content that, while enjoyable, is the amount of enjoyability is sort of proportional to the amount of competence in the group, and the amount of competence in the group is typically very low in Delubrum Regina.
Yeah, I do not like. Don't pop that lethargy yet.
Yeah. Wait. I've got to still go and do Regine, but yeah,
I mean, I'll take you through it. I can take you through for one clear.
I actually like it. It's just that I don't like the fact that it's most likely going to suck. Like, I think the actual content is relatively entertaining.
Like, if I'm just doing it for a clear, that's one thing. I'm fine with that. What I don't like doing is setting up a farming group for it.
It's like doing it back to back to back to back to back and having to constantly replenish people with other noobs who haven't brought the right consumables, and
yeah,
it's sort of hard for me to throw stones since that person is me. I never bring the right consumables, largely because I don't have consumables to speak of. But I mean, that's sort of the problem. Like, as much as I despise the decisions that have been made regarding relic weapons in Walker, I still have a problem with a lot of the things in the approach taken by Eureka, the original Eureka, and to a lesser extent with Bosnia in that I feel like they have hinged a lot of it on content that is... It's not very self-explanatory what you should be doing, and as soon as it's no longer current content, getting explanations for it becomes an increasingly arcane process unless you have a lot of time on your hands to research it, or the sort of personality that likes to constantly make conversation with random strangers in the zone.
Oh, even then, most of them don't have a clue how the mechanics work. I was the guy that knew all the mechanics when we were in there, or when I was doing it.
No, I'm talking about, like, broadly speaking, like, you might be able to get an answer on what you should take if you just ask in the general Bosnia chat. You might be able to get an answer, but, like, that's not evident. Like, people, even if you specify in the party finder, oh, you need to bring this, that, and the other, people are going to ignore it because they don't understand why, or they don't think it's a big deal, or whatever. Because, I mean, in any other party finder content, like, if you do party finder Savage, it is expected that you do an opener with the proper pots and so on. But the reality is everybody expects that nobody will. So, if you happen to have people in the group who do, so much the better. Thanks, Fern.
Yeah, that was a sneaky one.
But,
Yeah, it's when you're going to Delbrum Regine, as somebody that actually knows what the heck to do in there, it's doubly frustrating when you set up a farming group, because it has a quirk to it. I can stomach the duty finder. I can setting up the party finder with people and getting them in the group and all that. That's fine. I can even deal with the occasional guy that doesn't bring DPS essences when it's a farming group, and can just drag them through. What I can't deal with is the 10-minute wait timer you have to do at the start of every single one.
Bleh.
yeah, I don't. It just does not seem like it's relevant to be that way. Like, why is it that way? Why is this one thing like this? Why?
It's the only thing
What
in
is
the
the
game with that
purpose?
timer.
Like, you can queue for whatchamacallit, right? The airship.
Yep.
I can't remember its name. Deljada. You can queue for Deljada, right?
You have to be in. It's like Lacus Latory.
Yeah. So it's. But the thing is that getting a group for Lacus Latory is nowhere near the same type of waste of your time that Delubrum Regina is. It's not. Why is it different? Was it just an experiment? Like, what's going on there?
I have no idea what their justification for it was. All I know is that at the end of the day, there was some really pants-on-head retarded way to queue for that place. Oh, I might get tail screwed.
Oh my.
No, you avoid it.
Got that.
You're good.
Yeah, I was moving ahead of time. If you're not moving right when he starts the cast, the server has funny ideas about where you actually are.
The server needs to have less ideas.
Okay, I'm getting tail screwed. It doesn't actually kill you; it only brings you to 1 HP. So if I do get hit, I can Divine Veil out of it.
Yeah. One thing actually that reminds me of little bit of a shame you can't bring Blue Mage in here.
Well, it would be broken, basically.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's what Blue Mage do.
Yeah, but it would.
Yeah,
it
but it would mean that
devalue.
they'd have to remove all the rewards, so nobody would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would devalue absolutely everything here. Like, my kitty would mean nothing.
Your key would be nothing. Yeah. If you set up a Blue Mage challenge mode, you'd have to do it that way. Something special for the Blue Mage.
I think that would be very hard to do because you would have to make the margin of error so narrow that it would be unfair.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even to a Blue Mage, because that's the only way to make something challenging to a Blue Mage.
Essentially,
is to
they'd be
make it like
building
really unfair.
Yeah, they'd essentially be building an entirely new dungeon just for one job.
It's not relevant to do it. It's a very poor use of resources.
Yeah. Fun idea, not practical.
Yeah, that's a lot of things with Blue Mage. Yeah, it might be fun to do it, but the amount of resources you would have to put in, and
you've got to keep in mind, almost nobody playing this game plays Blue Mage.
Yes.
Like, absolutely minuscule portion of the population has even bothered to unlock the class.
and of that percentage of people, most of those people only busted out for Moogle Tomes.
Yes.
A lot of people, in fact, resent the fact that it's in the game because they feel that it's taken away from the opportunity to have another job.
And
I mean,
actual
that's not
proper
how
work.
allocation. That's not how allocation of resources works, since the same sort of resources that go to Blue Mage go to things like Island Sanctuary. But it's still, it's not. It's never going to be on the same level that other jobs are. And it won't be treated the same, and it shouldn't, because it's a gimmick. It's not a class.
Yeah.
Don't touch anything.
Okay, you're doing a storms. Okay. Yeah. Unfortunately, just because of the nature of the beast, it's just if you try to treat Blue Mage as a regular job, you'd basically take away what makes Blue Mage unique. Just by giving them their assigned spells at the right points in the game, or at your right levels. And yeah.
Hey, Racing.
Hey, nice.
Yeah, I have to be very careful the order I pull stuff when I'm going to do a Storms play in here, because this is where mob knowledge is very nice, because I know what mobs I can't handle chasing me around, and I know what ones I can. And if they're just chasing me, I know exactly what they're going to do and where they're going to do it. I can fairly safely set up a Storms play. Like, I don't want a whole bunch of yabbies chasing me with their stupid shield up where I can't just one-shot them.
Yep, that would be bad.
Or not yabbies, whatever those things are.
Oh, the snails.
The snail dudes.
Yeah, them. Now, yabbies, you need to deal with tail screws.
Fern, do a strong.
We've got no knockback, by the way.
That's fine. That's actually helpful.
That's what I'm just warning you so that you don't behave as though you do have one. Because the monks basically are a non-entity with knockback disabled, but if you behave like they can still knock back, you waste a lot of time.
Yeah. I mean, I still got to get out because Water 3 still hits.
Oh yeah. But it's not relevant to us, so we don't have to do silly things like stand next to the mob or anything like that.
Hey, got the third dread.
Nice.
All the exploration.
Where are all my onion knights?
I can live with the demi clones coming later, as long as we got dreads and raisins going into the later floors. I'll be happy.
Raisins are gross.
Okay, please tell me you're stunnable. Okay, he is stunnable.
Just
wait, is he going to resume casting? I'm going to back away just in case.
Most of the ones in here don't, but the ones in Palace of the Dead definitely do.
Oh, okay. He resumes cat. Yeah, he has a short cooldown between his sewer waters.
Well, it's probably more that it doesn't put it on cooldown, but he goes to the next thing in his ability loop.
Yeah. Oh, we don't have to worry about the stingrays either.
Oh, it's Ernie. Hello, Ernie.
Just look for the donut or the point blank after this.
Why would you do that? Why would you body slam me? You got rid of that shield that Ernie gave me.
Yeah.
These will normally knock you back when they do the body slam, but we have knockback disabled.
Yeah. Well, if it gets entirely absorbed by Ernie's shield, does it still?
It could be one of them. It could be one of the mechanics where if it gets shielded.
We found one of those. We found one of those when we were doing Palace of the Dead.
Yeah,
the boss that charges you. If you shield the entire thing, you don't get knocked back. It's the taking damage that triggers the knockback.
Donut.
Oh, you went the other way.
Oh yeah, I did go the other way.
That's right. I got the treasure chest. It blew up.
Yeah, well, he could have gotten us killed. That's the problem. If we had been standing within the donut, because that donut is enormous.
Is it one of those stupid ones that goes through the walls?
I think it's line of sightable. I think that's why you were safe.
Right.
But
No, we were standing just outside the donut. Even though we were like 3 rooms away.
Yeah, it's stupidly big.
Nope, nothing in there.
Alright, let's skedaddle.
So yeah. it's Palace of the Dead, very interesting. I'll happily take you through Dalradia whenever you want to. Just try to catch me like before showtime one week would be a real good time to do it because there might actually be people in the queue.
Ultimately, I have to spend time in Bosnia for that, and yeah, because I'm not sort of. I don't think I'm up to it yet. I've got.
No, I'm not. I'm not doing a farm and run.
Oh no.
I'm not doing. But I'll take Fern through his first clear.
Well, I haven't been through it either. I've only been as far as Delubrum Regino.
Okay, so we're at the same point in the quest.
No, I've done Delubrum Regino. That's what I said.
Oh, okay.
I haven't.
Oh, he means okay, right. Dalradia, not
Oh, right.
They both start with D, so I get them mixed up in my head when they come out of my mouth.
And then there's Dalacus Praetorium. Yes. Dalacus. So yeah, the dungeons in Bosnia, like, they're cool the first time, but I can easily see how Lacus will become a nuisance.
If it was a normal dungeon, I think that it would be fine.
Yeah.
Like, I think that the problem is that they're just far enough away from the norm that people find impressively ridiculous ways of screwing them up. Oh,
Come back!
Well, their lethargy's got a while.
Okay.
But yeah, with Lacus, it is entirely group dependent. I have two-manned it before. I found a guy in there. I was on White Mage and he was on Dark Knight, and we two-manned it.
Okay.
Now we were both 10-10-10 rays and had DPS quints on, but it is doable. That thing's going to be exploding for a while.
In that case, let's just sneak on past it. That would have taken
several times
ages.
I've hit my dash button and then realised that I wasn't dashing.
Well, at least we have knockback disabled alongside it. What is that big claw doing?
Bad things.
Whatever it wants.
He's just chilling. You know, doing crab things.
As you do.
Crab battle.
Crab battle.
So yeah,
fun.
it is Lacus Littoria, and your enjoyment of it is going to be very group dependent on whether or not you get a group of people that know what the F they're doing.
Yeah.
I've had some really great ones in the past.
Like the one I've only done it once, and the group I did was okay. Like I went in with the Dark Knight, but I didn't end up tanking the upper half of the robot. But I think our DPS must have been standing around with a thumb up their nose the entire time because I don't know what they were doing. It took so long to bring it down.
What they were doing was moving during Pyretic. I bet you later on in the dungeon, because that's been my main experience. Is how long it takes you to get through Lacus Littoria depends on how much of the group gets lost during the prison sequence and how many people just can't help but move during Pyretic.
Yeah. Like Dark Knight, it's not a problem. I just basically plonk myself in one spot and tank there. But yeah, there was a few people who just, randomly died 5 or 6 times.
Yeah, they'll do that.
And then, also I got lost on the prison sequence because, yeah.
So, this is my biggest problem with Lacus Littoria, is that stupid prison sequence determines how big the rewards are for doing it.
Yes.
And your payout is almost entirely determined by that stupid prison sequence. And it can not go your way.
Yeah.
Well, because you need to have a critical mass of competent people who know it really well in order for it to simply operate. Otherwise, you're doomed from that point onward.
Have to kill this
Yeah,
one.
it's you need enough people who can
Who know the route.
who know what they're doing and can go down basically each set of hallways.
Well, they also they need to have done it enough that they know that you've got a critical mass of people who all know the lingo. So when somebody says what they're going to do, everybody knows what that means, and you don't get overlapping people operating at cross purposes.
Stingray is exploding. Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of stuck in here, so hopefully, I'm glad he did the point blank.
Yeah, you would have been in trouble otherwise.
that feel when it's only at times like this that I have feathers?
And I got no robot. Or burst. I press this button.
Trying to pick up the bomb, but I don't have the buttons I think I have
You
to
don't have
pick
half
him
the
up
buttons
with.
either. Wait, do you not
If
have
I can
a
turn...
taunt at all? Does
No, taunt's an ability.
Oh, right.
I mean, I have shield lob, which is effectively a taunt for how long those mobs stay alive, but I have to remember to use it
Yeah.
instead of trying to match Circle of Scorn or Expiation.
Yeah. I admit I tend to forget that unmend is a button sometimes.
Unfortunately, that's why I pull aggro off every co-tank in every raid that I duty finder. Is because I never forget to press Tomahawk. Like anytime I'm not doing something else particular, I'm just spamming the Tomahawk button.
Okay,
And
this one is going to suck
apparently-
us in. So
Apparently, there is no other tank who does that because I'm constantly stealing aggro from people as a result of pressing Tomahawk.
Yeah, if they're out of range, they're just standing and staring at the boss.
Yeah, I as a paladin, I have it even worse. I'll lose aggro to tanks all the time that know where their Tomahawk button is, because I will oftentimes have my
You've got
ranged
the best
spells.
ranged options.
Yeah, but they don't have the same threat modifier as Tomahawk.
Oh yeah,
or-
that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
So
They should nearly make up for it in damage, relatively speaking.
one would think,
Tomahawk
but
Tomahawk don't do a whole lot of damage.
no, but it do a whole lot of threat. Oh, hello, monk.
I'm just going over here then. Bye.
I'm gonna start
Bye.
moving before the sucker finishes casting.
Now, I was hoping I could sneak away and not get suckered, but nope.
Oh no, I'm pretty sure the sucker ignores line of sight.
Yeah, and it's got a
One
huge
born
range.
every minute.
Okay.
So okay. Oh, we can see where we're going now. So got plenty of time.
Safety? Okay.
That's I didn't.
Sighted.
So
Ew.
Fully.
nope, running away.
Alright.
But yeah.
So yeah.
So anything else in your week, Paul, other than the little bit we did earlier?
Not really. I haven't really had time to do much of anything else. I haven't really sampled any of the content from the new patch because I was too busy to do much of anything this week. Because most of my time got eaten up by desperately scrambling to try and keep up with the current FGO event and so forth. Because we're doing the summer rerun. I really enjoyed the summer story, the summer camp story. The problem is that summer stories tend to be really, really long, and so it takes a lot of time to clear the content. There are time gates, but you know, these days time gates aren't really that much of a problem for me because I can barely keep up with them. I'm already behind as it is. There's still a week left to go, so I can probably clear it if I devote some time to it, but or at least clear it minimally. I'm not that interested in maxing out events anymore simply because I don't have the time for it, and it requires an awful lot of grinding if you really want to go for maxing out the benefits of an event. What are you doing, Fern? Why do you just go and play with that sprite for no reason?
Hiding around the corner.
Yes, but he would have been happy to stay put.
Oh, I got a.
Are we playing sprite tennis?
Yes.
Oh, I got a Zartan back here that's coming to play.
Okay, well, let me just... We can start moving in that direction. There we go. Hello,
Kill your sprite first and kill it away from me, please.
Yeah, it's way over there. It's all right. Stupid, weird, tentacly thing.
So yeah, we've got the affluence anyway out of that room.
Okay.
So yeah, I don't have much else to talk about in my week.
All right, my week. I was sick as a dog this week. Like it was bad news bears.
Ugh.
I just I felt terrible.
You got Florida-itis.
Yeah, it got brought back.
Oh. Okay, which changed, right.
I'm doing a thing. Yeah, there's a witching back here.
Shotgun.
We might as well use. Figure we might as well use it.
Fair enough.
Ah.
Oh, hello.
Oh. I'm glad that was a mimic and not. Oh, look what I found.
Oh. Surprise horde is the best horde.
Yeah, we hadn't been getting any intuitions to restock Death Trap. So that was nice.
Yeah. I've
So
actually
yeah,
seen that happen a lot more in here than I have in the other two. It's just accidentally finding pieces of the horde.
yeah, I'm stronging for the boss because you guys are probably gonna die.
Which boss was this one?
Minotaur.
Oh yeah, I'm just gonna follow you because I can't read those patterns at all. They make no sense to me.
Just follow the Dorito. Unfortunately, the Minotaur requires quite a bit of focus because I have to count. So the week will be delayed just a little bit here. Actually, Uni. Always start on his left. Okay, race car. Race car's the easy one. And then one, and then two. Fern.
Uni saved you.
Run away. Oh.
And this is what happens when you pay too much attention to your burst phase.
Yeah,
It's like the old school World of Warcraft complaint. People focusing on the deeps.
Yeah.
The deep's tunnel vision.
Yeah.
That, and I just ran out of fingers. I can't
my
burst
food
and
buff
move
ran
like
out,
that
too.
at the same time.
Oh, this is a nasty orb setup, but that's okay. It's fairly easy. We should be good about right here. Yeah, right here. 1, 2 move. 4 move. 5 move. And stay north. Oh, that swing.
Moo.
Get him, Mooney. Swipe. All right. Let's see. This is race car again. Which way is left? This way is left. I'm not going to grade the DPS. We got plenty of time. I'll just sit here and chuck shields at him. 1. 1, 2. Knockback. Oh, swipe. Yeah, aside from getting clipped by that cacophony on Chimera just because I was trying to do 2 things at once, I can do most of these bosses in my sleep now. This guy, he looks scary with all his telegraphs and thunderballs everywhere, but he's really not.
Yeah, once you figure its patterns out, I think you can. Is it pretty easy?
Nope, south. I can't count. Okay, then he smacks left, and then he smacks up, and then you go north. Yeah, it's just if he can only do up, down, left, right, up, knock back. He can only do up, down, left, right, or and then he'll repeat up, down, left, right, or he will do up, down, left, right, and then do it backwards. So you always, oh no, right, left. Sorry, up, down, right, left. So you stay on his left because the last one's going to hit, and you see which pattern he's going to do. And if he's going to hit left twice, that's called the race car pattern. You just move north after the first hit, and then after the 2 left hits, you move back. You move back left, and you're safe for the rest of the mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
Even
the
if
other
you say
one,
that, I won't understand without a diagram.
So yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
We
This is a,
should take a quick break.
Yep, this is a break floor, so we'll come back. I'll do a little bit of my week that's there, not much, and we'll do Zarathus's email, and then we will get into the news while we clear up through floor 70.
Yas. We'll be right back.
And we're back. And Fern's dead.
Yeah, just okay. More the point. What's with the duet act over the corpse?
Oh,
It just seemed appropriate, you know.
Yeah. So, I guess we can quickly zip through my week. There ain't been a whole lot. I got through the patch content on Tuesday and Wednesday. Doesn't take too many hours to shoot through it, and then got deathly sick.
Yay!
And for 2 days, I was incapacitated.
Guess what, Vaul? Your turn next.
I haven't gotten sick, like properly sick, since I took over as manager, and I don't think that they are properly accounting for what's going to happen if I get taken out of action, to be totally honest.
Which means you're overdue.
Yeah. So this
Do I have that dance? I don't think I do.
this is the Songbird Dance. It's either premium one or event one from many years ago.
Hang on.
But no, you're not going to bees
Not
knees behind
Mandeville.
us.
No,
I'll
Mandeville.
There you go.
But
That still looks very
the rest-
strange.
yeah,
This is not how you idle step.
This is about the limit of my dance moves IRL too, so...
Is that what you're doing at the wedding?
Yes. Because, you know, people don't... If you say you don't want to go out on the dance floor, they just try all the harder.
Yeah, that's basically what, like waving a red flag at a bull at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So for the rest of my week, there was a whole bunch of work shenanigans, and I posted my screenshot of this mess in show host because I don't want to dox this guy. But every single one of those emails has been going on since the 11th. Now, I'm going to pose a question to both of you. You have a square 5 foot by 5 foot hole in the ground. It's 60 inches in diameter. What is going to happen if you try to put a lid on that thing that is also 60 inches by 60 inches in diameter, on its outer diameter?
You're gonna fall in the hole.
I have got an email chain of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, plus at least 6 phone calls to this guy trying to explain this to him.
The lid needs to be bigger than the hole.
You need a 66-inch outer diameter.
Yes.
You need an extra half foot to bolt the thing to the concrete.
To go to his kitchen, get a jar, and then look at the diameter of the lid relative to the lip of the jar.
The lid goes on the outside.
Both him and the engineer for this job just don't get it. I'm sorry if you... And what's worse is they already ordered the system for it. For this pit. And it's a duplex system, and it requires a minimum 54-inch diameter hole. Now, we offer 54-inch lids, inner diameter, so it would have a 60-inch outer diameter. But we'd have to include... We don't offer basins in that size. It's a special basin size. We'd have to custom order it. And you don't want me to do that. And like I knew he would, he balked at the price when I told him...
Did they purchase the lid based on outer diameter and then spec the basin?
No, he's trying to get me to price every different size basin and lid other than the one he needs. He can either find a way to shave the walls down and cram a 60-inch round basin in that hole, and then put a round lid on it and backfill it. That's one way. I think that's way too much work because he's already got a perfectly fine concrete pit. But his other option is just put a 66 OD lid on the hole.
Yeah.
And just drill the piping into it? Like the same rocket surgery.
Why did they dig the hole before speaking out what they were putting in it anyway?
Because
the engineer is just as retarded as he is.
This is like how roadworks get done.
Badly.
Or not done, as the case may be.
Yes.
But I've had this one job eaten away at a solid 2 hours of my day for 2 weeks now.
All explaining the dynamics of lids needing to be bigger than the hole they're covering.
Yes. And this is in addition to my normal workload that did not get any lighter with the week going, and the office is now being repaired. So there are people there ripping out the carpet to put in new flooring and stuff.
Oh, right, nice.
I once again have no office.
Yay. But you'll have a nice functioning new office when you're done.
Hopefully. Unless the opossum's talking about putting a bathroom down there. Like a shower down there.
Why?
I'm gonna choke him.
Because he only ever has bad ideas, like ever.
He's finding more ways for me to spend money. He's not gonna get it. I'm not gonna okay it. Period. End. But
yeah, that's not gonna get covered by a tax write-off, I'm afraid.
Yeah, actually, you probably could if you weaseled it good enough. But it wouldn't even be that hard.
You'd probably need to spend some money on an accountant to make sure that you didn't get got by the auditor later.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to be convincing in your argument.
The point is, right now, while I'm still getting everything pushed forward into where we actually have records, which is about 3.5 years ago, when I started taking over everything, I can't afford an audit. If they audit us, we're boned. I need another 1.5 years where I got 5 years worth of records that I can pull out.
Basically, you don't want to create any attention-drawing write-offs that could cause them to want to take a closer look.
Yeah, I do not want to draw the ire of the IRS for another 1.5 years. After that, I don't care. But until then, I can't afford to draw the attention of the IRS. So, yeah, this has been a work week, and it has not left me with any free time at all, other than a little bit on Tuesday and Wednesday to go through the MSQ and the raids.
You don't want to answer an auditor as to why all of these PlayStation charges are on the company credit card?
I'm going to kill him.
Why did he...
He hadn't done it recently, but
he ain't got two brain cells to rub together. That's the problem. He's a proud product of the first half of the Georgia schooling system.
Yeah, he never made it out. He never made it out of high school. Don't even know if he got his GED. But yeah, I've got that problem, the mountain of problems to deal with that is only ever always growing in the background, but cannot be dealt with all at once. Unfortunately, each piece of the mountain needs to be taken off at the appropriate time.
My problems are different, but I do sympathize. Like, there are certain types of problems that only exist for me because I've got a corporate structure above me. But there are also certain problems that I can push off to the corporate structure above me.
Yeah.
I will never have to deal with a financial audit. I only have to deal with a practical laboratory audit. Because the financial auditing will be addressed to the corporate structure above me.
Yeah, and what happens when you have that hanging over your head as somebody that effectively runs and owns the company is if you're also doing the bookkeeping, you need to keep meticulous books and do a whole lot of extra work with every single entry to make sure there's an easy record path. And you have to actually keep all those records and find a way to sort them and organize them. So it's a mess. Played a very little bit of Cold Steel 3 today. Chewed through a bit more of Chapter 1. And that's all I've done with it. I just have not had time this week. I've been sick and I've been busy. So unfortunately, I don't have any media to report back to you with. Although, I will say for the little bit of Cold Steel 3 that I do have, man, it hits different playing Crossbell. Because so much stuff in the early Cold Steel 3 parallels with stuff that happened in Trails to Azure. Like, your party's going down a road and finds destroyed archaisms and your quest's already complete. That's paralleling a big event that happened in Azure. By the opposite Jaeger group. And you just
I'm
don't
glad
have
that
the
I never
context.
got around to starting Cold Steel now.
Yeah, you could probably get away with Cold Steel 1 and 2 before or after the Crossbell games, but man, it just it hurts going into Cold Steel 3 and 4 without it. And I'm catching so much stuff I missed on my first playthrough, and I'm only in Chapter 1. So yeah, that's your Trails update. I will chew through it very slowly. I've got 2 months. Well, I've got a month and some change to finish the game before Trails into Reverie comes out, and I've got to get through 3 and 4. But I'm following a guide to get all the collectibles because I've already done this as a blind playthrough once. I just want to be sure I see everything this time and to be able to zip around from point to point without faffing around.
Fair
and
enough.
just see the major story beats that are different and how they hit with crossspell. So I'm taking the expedited path through the game with a guide on the other monitor to show me where to go.
Collecting all the looted pets.
Yeah, they actually released for Trails into Reverie a Loot head pat trailer.
To which T-Mobile responded for some reason.
Yeah, that's the real WTF on this one. Is why did T-Mobile and why did they keep responding to it? In the in the comments,
you know that it's just somebody who's just like some random schlub intern who's also a gamer who operates all of these accounts. So
yeah, I did like one of the randos that responded to T-Mobile. When y'all coming out with the Arcus unit for your mobile service, I'd buy that phone. Actually, I probably wouldn't, but it'd be a fun novelty.
you would buy Apple devices, like some kind of hipster.
I have to buy Apple devices. The only thing whilst freaking stuff is on.
Doesn't that limit their possible sales?
I mean, you can log into it through a web browser, but it's really, really janky. And when I'm out on the field, I need the app to work.
Yeah.
So I can test things quickly.
You can, technically.
So what you're saying is that they hired an app developer, but they didn't hire a web developer.
Yeah, yes. They have a web API for their remote login service, but it's actually not WoW's fault. It's actually BackNet's. But they're a remote monitoring service for various equipment that does remote interfacing within your building, and they're standard in the state, and they're just awful. And everybody has to use BackNet or whatever the other one is, but they're just as bad.
Or did they like code their backend in Perl or something that nobody knows very well?
I have no idea what the heck they did, but it's a mess, and I hate using their web interface.
Oh yeah, Perl used to be a big deal in New Zealand because every bank's software was all of their web software was all coded, like the software part of their internals was all coded in Perl. And so if you wanted to work in the banking sector as a software developer, you had to know Perl. And Perl's just not taught at universities typically.
Yeah.
Especially now. Now they only teach like Python and things that are easy to teach.
Yeah.
And C because they have to teach C.
Yeah, EDI's that way in the US where there's some kind of weird EDI databasing setup that you've got to do. And that has its own unique set of rules and ways you got to set it up, and nobody knows how to do it except for specialists. But
I wonder if there's still. I know that there used to be years back. It used to be that all the major cities, well, a lot of major cities, had traffic light systems that all were built on COBOL. And there's like a handful of 60-year-old software engineers who still know COBOL.
Yeah, it was offered when I first went to college. I don't think it's offered anymore.
Well, it was already a dead language by the time you would have been old enough for college. But they still needed people to learn it because nobody understood how the software was put together. Because the generation for whom COBOL was a normal programming language were all gone. They're all retired. But they're redoing a lot of those things now that sort of like learning algorithms are more advanced. Like I know that I think it's Sydney is constantly shilling their traffic management system and bragging about how congestion is down 20% or whatever. Though you wouldn't know it from on the ground.
It's down because people don't want to go into the CBD.
Dance partner, by the way.
So they might get mobbed by ibises or something.
The bin chickens, they feed
chicken.
Right. So that's all I got for my week. I wish I had some media to talk to y'all about and some recommendations to give you, but I just don't.
Have media. You've got the hotel rap.
Okay.
Oh. Okay.
I found a ninja, by the way.
You've had all sorts of things. You might want to.
Yeah.
Do something about this.
I'm working on it.
Chicken.
Where's the cobra? Kill the cobra first.
Yeah, working on the cobra.
So yeah, once this mess of patrols is dead, we can look at the email. But yeah, the hotel rap. I discovered it existed because of I think Maxwell's video referenced it, and man, I'm so glad I don't play Genshin Impact and didn't have to sit through that.
Oh dear.
Maybe it's less bad in Chinese.
Maybe.
Maybe it's even less bad in Japanese.
Something
But
that
in
tells
English-
me no.
Oh shoot!
I haven't
did he?
watched that video. It appeared in my recommends for reasons that are beyond me on account of me not consuming any Genshin Impact content. So I was very confused that YouTube thought I really wanted to watch the Hu Tao rap,
We got another ninja.
but I did not click on it. And then Aristiel linked it to me, and I'm like, okay, so now I know I'm definitely not clicking on that because there's something wrong with it.
Oh yeah, it is very much so a piece of content of all time. So yeah,
I always thought Hu Tao was a cute character, but
Nope. Gotta ruin things. Can't have nice things.
Ninja is not stunnable.
Well, here's
It's
another one.
bindable though. Ah, another one.
Once
Yeah.
we're done with the conga line of ninja patrols here,
Yeah.
we can read the email.
Unfortunately, I'd like to be able to look ahead and see how many we have, but they're ninjas. Okay.
If I have to use another witching because there's a luring trap in this gosh darn freaking donut room, I'm gonna lose my marbles.
Touch.
Nick. Snack.
Snack.
I see the snake. I want a fortune before we kill the snake. Don't be behind these.
They do unholy things when you're behind them, yes.
Okay, they are stunnable though.
Neat.
Good to know.
Okay. Conga line down, hopefully.
So I will pull stuff that. Vol, you want to take the email so that you can stay out of melee range and then read?
Okay, well, I'm just going to stand here and do nothing because I can't play and
That's
read
fine.
an email at the same time.
That's
Just
fine.
gonna
That's
move
fine.
My mic a little bit so that I can look at my other monitor and still talk more or less into the mic. Dear No Excuses. So it is that time of year where everyone decides to release their stuff. For example, we finally have Darkest Dungeon 2, remarkable in the way that it contains exactly 0 dungeons. Despite all the changes, the game delivers and fails exactly where the previous one did, atmosphere. Music, sound, graphics, design, narration is top notch, but the game is a grind fest. 5 chapters with practically nothing new unlocking between them, same enemies, zones, just up difficulty for 5 chapters. Also no story to speak of, nothing actually progresses when you complete a chapter. Or Atrio the Dark World. Actually, this one came out of early access. It is still weird, a mix of Don't Starve and Factorio with that quirky corp doesn't care about human life kind of humour, even though you play as a frequently replaced android. It's kind of weird. Or, I don't even know how to pronounce that. Krotl aka Slav Quake, or Shizlovak Chasm the Rift. I'm trying to read this monitor from very far away because my actual microphone is like 1.5 meters from my monitor. A Soviet core boomer shooter reaching levels of brown previously thought impossible. It is a fun romp if you like rusting industrial parks and crumbling castles, everything being exceedingly blocky. The level geometry all using right angles exclusively and having games with absolutely no story whatsoever.
So,
Oh,
Or Bolt
it's
Gun,
Quake.
aka 40k boomer shooter. Only played the first 3 levels and it's okay. Once I turned the pixelation down to 0, I could actually make out shapes in the distance and realised that the basic bolter just snipes most enemies. I think the biggest complaint I have about Bolt Gun is pacing and lack of good damage feedback, along with the general sameness of the levels. It's a very solid experience if you like boomer shooters or 40k, but I wasn't blown away by it as I was by Ash's Afterglow, which you should play because it's free and the best Mad Max game on PC. Or the System Shock remake, which is not actually out just yet, so I can't write anything about it. I have kickstarted it, so I should receive a copy and include it in my next email. Actually, I was going to include stuff about WoW and how I'm not playing it, but this email is already long enough. Or how can Vaul play Heretic over Doom when the Retro Beast stings him? Or how can Ari can platty multiple 200-hour JRPGs? Or how in Star Rail one of the side quests is tracking down an ethot who fleeces money from incels? naturally it's a dude. Cerathus.
Oh,
Yes,
there's-
however, if you really do want to play Heretic, check out The Wayfarer, one of the very few user-made level packs for Heretic. It is truly excellent. Cerathus.
Oh, there's a lot in that email.
Yep. So I
Yeah.
actually scooped the bolt gun game because it was 10% off.
Ooh, nice.
I was going to get it, but then I kept thinking, yeah, but when am I going to play it?
It's a boomer
I
shooter.
love 40k, and I like shooters, like especially old school shooters, but I don't have time.
Yeah.
Fern, you gonna help me kill a mimic?
I can help you kill a mimic if you like. So yeah, I looked at Bolt Gun and there's so many games coming out at this time of year. It's like, oh, I could buy this, but there's all this other stuff coming. Maybe I want to try some of that.
I scooped it specifically so I could poke at it because I figured Cerathus would play it.
Yeah, I mean, I will probably get it and play it. It's just a question of whether that's soon or greatly in the distance, because it's definitely going to be one of those games that comes up on deep discount by Christmas, sort of thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not averse to paying full price for it because I like the franchise, even though I shouldn't like the franchise because they keep trying to violate it. But I mean, I believe Sargon actually talked about this at great length, but it's very, very hard to properly violate 40k all the way to the ground because so much of the way it is put together is sort of like intrinsically reactionary.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the whole theme behind the thing is that the entirety of human civilization has only managed to preserve itself through being reactionary. But yeah, it's I've only watched the trailers, but I mean, it looks like a pretty conventional boomer shooter, and unlike Cerathus, I don't play a huge amount of them, so I'm not terribly discerning on taste. The fact that it's themed in a way I enjoy will probably be sufficient for me.
Yes.
I mean, that's sort of, it's sort of like how do I say? The reason I like Heretic is because it's just, while the level designs in Heretic tend not to be as good as some of the level design in Doom, like, although I think that there's sort of like a happy medium in Doom where some of the levels, like Odyssey of Noises, are a little bit confusing for my tastes. But the level design in Heretic, broadly speaking, isn't quite as good. But I like the fact that it's a little bit more out there in aesthetic and design in a lot of ways. Although, I mean, anybody could argue infinitely that, oh, there's this Doom WOD that has all of the things that you're looking for. But generally speaking, 40k is like high fantasy sci-fi, basically.
Basically, yeah.
So it's got that sort of slightly out there fantastical feel to it, while still being like, it has the grounded and reactionary flavor I like, but also the sort of fantastical, and it's not optimistic is the wrong word for it, but it's sort of like it constantly tries to outdo itself along every axis and sees outdoing itself as a goal.
Don't touch anything.
That looks like a
You're
no-no room.
gonna grab the mimics last, are you?
Mm-hmm.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so I like 40k for similar reasons that I like Heretic, or vice versa, in that it's just, it goes a little bit further.
Fern, what
Dude.
part of don't touch anything didn't you hear?
I stopped. Whoop. Now there's a whole
Like,
room full of no-nos.
It's I like the sort of the slightly off kilter basis of fantasy compared to sci-fi, because aside from being essentially about an open portal to hell, Doom, in the way that it executes, is kind of hard sci-fi in a lot of ways. And I mean, it's true that you wander around flesh walls and all of that type of thing, which is extremely soft sci-fi. That's extremely fantastical stuff. But ultimately, its conceit is that Marine with gun can overcome that, and that's got its own sort of value to it. But it doesn't inspire the imagination quite in the same way that I think 40k does, where like you're still Marine with gun, but the gun is a portable rapid fire rocket launcher. So yeah, it's taking it up a notch in a sense, and the chainsaw is no longer just a chainsaw; it's a chain sword. So it has all of the benefits of being a sword, which is cool, and a chainsaw, which is also cool. So you get more cool per weapon.
It's kind of
So it's just subtleties like that.
yeah. I think that's one of the big things that really drew me into just enjoying 40k is the thing takes basically every trope in the book and then takes it to its extreme. And
Yeah, that's the whole point. Is
That's
to
the
go a
whole
little
point.
bit over the top.
Yeah,
I mean, when it comes to shooters in the traditional style, I like Painkiller for the same reason.
yes, the first
In
one.
that it's just, yeah, I haven't played anything except for the first campaign. I have pretended that no other part of Painkiller exists.
Yeah.
But I like it because it is the same sort of pace, but over the top. It's a little bit out there. It's a little bit fantastical, a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah, it's really why I can't get into the modern shooters. It's like we've been drinking sodas up until now, and you just want us to drink water.
I've never been into the military games. Like back in high school, we used to play Call of Duty 1 at LAN parties, like in deathmatch, but we never behaved normally.
No.
Like we would go around doing entire matches where the only thing you were allowed to do was club people with the grenade
I mean,
because it was funny.
look at
Because
the
it was those old German stick grenades, right?
yeah. Remember the glory days of Goldeneye? Like all the boring people said, "Oh, no old job." No, no, no. The real game was all odd job.
Or odd job slappers only.
Slappers only.
Yeah. I did not mean to snap at you that hard, Fern, but
Yeah. Hands on autopilot.
I was
Snake!
Snake. I see
Snake. Snack.
Well, I don't see Snake, but I noticed Snake while I was going around.
I'm traumatized by snakes since the entire week. The entire week was Robo Snake must die in Blue Archive, aka why Robo Snake bully me so hard.
All right. There's been a
anything
few
else?
other games in there. Like I've been keeping an eye on Atrio because it just looks weird.
I don't know what it is. Like
It's
his description does not really
It's
enlighten me much.
It's a hard game to explain, but from what I can gather, you're basically in a world that's completely dark. You need to explore, defeat monsters, and then use those same monsters to build a factory to ultimately turn the lights back on. And it's got this very unique looking isometric kind of art style. It's very strange. So I'm going to probably pick that one up when I see it on sale. But yeah, I'm a little bit burnt out on factory games at the moment. I've already done one early playthrough of Satisfactory, which apparently that game's changed a lot since I last played it. And I've did a Factorio binge fairly recently, so put that genre on the shelf for a little while.
You don't have enough of the tism to dunk 200 hours into it?
No, I don't. Well, not right now anyway. But yeah. So yeah, let's see, what was it? The other games. Ugh. There's just so much to keep track of at the moment, and we are in both the hype season and the launch season. So
Yeah. Notice how nobody really cares about any of the big names though. Like we talked about Zelda because Nintendo are the only large company that has remained on a relatively even keel quality wise over the years. But we don't really talk about anybody else's anymore.
Nintendo's basically kind of found their groove and they refuse to move out of it.
Which is fine because it's printing money for them.
It's a good groove and more people need to be in that groove.
Yeah, with releasing games that function on launch.
Yes. Like, look how long it took them to adopt DLC in any format.
Yeah, unfortunately they've tried every kind under the sun, including the really cancerous kinds.
Yeah. Like, the Chocobo Racing, I think, was the really worst one where they put one of those really nasty battle passes on it.
Hopefully they will eventually iterate toward something that is not completely offensive to customers.
Yeah, like they've done it. They've hit the sweet spot before with some games, and then you've got.
Well, I mean,
things
just
like...
because we recognise it as a sweet spot doesn't mean that their bean counters recognise it as a sweet spot.
Oh yeah, what the customer and the bean counters recognise in that regard are two completely different things. Like for them, the sweet spot was Fire Emblem Three Houses. You know, where you have the whole story
those
broken
games
into three.
are like. Those games are like. I wonder if I should try I wonder if I should try getting into Fire Emblem this generation.
Double
nope.
yes.
Double yes.
We got the stores back right away.
Churg.
Just for fun.
Snake.
Floor is safety.
Yeah.
So many snake.
Oh, I am so glad you stormed that. I'm going this way. Bye.
Yeah, I'm gonna check the other rooms by the entrance.
So, yeah, I think we've still got another 2 weeks of announcements to go. It's all spread out now that E3 is not a thing anymore. Actually, we'll have to figure out what we're doing on that regard, so we'll talk about that after the show.
E3.
Yeah, we'll come up with something. I
remember an era when I used to be kind of excited about the announcements. Like, ooh, what's going to be announced this year? Now it's like I know what's going to be announced this year, and it's going to be disappointing because it always is.
Well, even if it's not disappointing and some of the stuff looks good, there's still the hang-in chance that it's just not going to be finished.
Yeah, or there's the repetitive one of, okay, this looks good. How are they going to ruin it?
The entire thing's going to be like Pride themed or something. It's going to be something awful. Like Neil Cuckman's going to announce Last of Us 3 where everybody's a tranny. Like, I don't know.
If the TV series is any indication, they've already done the Last of Us HD remaster, and now they're going to do 2, but this time it's not awful. Like, the TV series is apparently completely rewriting the plot of 2.
Do they make everybody black?
I think we just...
Because I gather that's what television is doing these days.
Well, Disney certainly is. But,
and it's not going well for them.
No, it is not. Because
Underdone
nobody wants the live-action remakes. Stop!
Underdone me.
Underdone.
Well, the thing is, it's just an
Uncanny
excuse
valley.
to try and like rewrite people's childhoods, basically.
And cash in.
It's like,
yes.
no, what you had when you were a child was bad, and we need to replace that with something we think is good. Like it's pure sort of like theocracy type thinking, totalitarian theocracy thinking.
Yeah. Well, make something new. Can't do that.
No. Well, the thing is that it's not about making something new or not. It's about getting rid of the old.
Yes.
They are not trying to. It's not just laziness. That's the thing. It is true that they are talentless hacks, but the fact that they are talentless hacks. Oh, I screwed up badly. The fact that they are talentless hacks is merely corollary to the fact that their primary overriding interest is to get rid of the past.
Kill Drake first.
It's part of what it's like it's the Mao theory, right? That took place in China during the Cultural Revolution. You have to get rid of the old so that you can move forward. And that's the objective here. That's why they're always, is they aren't remaking things that were bad or remaking things. They're not even remaking things that necessarily have a lot of popularity potential. They are just getting rid of those things which people treasure and replacing them with a modern substitute. And because they're talentless hacks, they're bad.
They are bad.
Like there's no reason why a sufficiently talented director couldn't do a good live action rendition of a Disney movie or something, like leaving aside the question of whether anybody asked for it, because nobody did. It is not impossible to make a good story using actors because it's been done before, has it not?
It has. Quite a lot.
The problem is that that's not part of the objective, and that's not part of the talent pool in Hollywood. They don't have talented directors anymore, and the objective is not to make something good, it's to get rid of something treasured.
Like your feet.
Oh. run to the exit easier.
Yeah, let's just move. So yeah, anyway, so that's another rabbit hole which I don't want to go down right now because it's just depressing.
System Shock remake. They're going to clown it up? They're going to clown it up, aren't they?
Oh,
They're definitely going to clown it up.
System Shock is one of those cult classic games that honestly hasn't aged all that well. It's got some weird bits going on in there. But what it also has though is a really good villain and a really good premise.
Isn't the villain basically Hal?
Yeah, basically yes.
Oh,
But
dear
Shodan
Lord.
does creepy AI really well.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna leave that guy alone. We're
Yeah,
gonna go
that's-
fight the Gaorao.
Let's no touch him. My concern is if they're going to do a remake, they're going to start chopping bits off, and they're going to chop off the wrong bits. So ultimately, you'll end up with Bioshock in space.
Right away.
I thought that Bioshock
Yeah.
was System Shock Under the Sea.
Yes, it was. And they got there by chopping bits off, but in the case of Bioshock, they chopped off the right bits. Where then they added some of the really bad bits back on because Infinite exists.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Infinite was an excuse for somebody to tell the story they wanted to tell, and not to write a story that was good.
Or coherent.
Like
But
you can tell that like this, it might seem like an odd comparison to make, but to me, the end of Bioshock Infinite felt like the end of Mass Effect 3.
A cop out.
It felt like it felt like somebody had written something they thought was cool without consulting anybody on whether it made sense.
Ah, yes.
It's the first of a batch of games that exists where, oh, how do I want to describe this? It's the first of the activist class attempting to tell a story, but not knowing how to tell a story.
I feel like they weren't trying to tell a story though. Like they were trying to tell the audience that they were bad people. That was ultimately it. And Mass Effect did the same thing, but in a different way. Mass Effect wasn't trying to call the audience racists, but what Mass Effect did immediately following the incredibly poor reception of the end of its trilogy was that they released a piece of DLC to tell people that they were bad people for not liking the ending. So the attitude of contempt toward the customer who keeps you in a job was the same. It was just harnessed and redirected towards a political end as opposed to being grounded in what was entertaining the way it should have been.
Yeah. So we'll see. I wouldn't mind being able to actually play System Shock since by the time I actually got around to playing System Shock, it wouldn't run on any computers.
I don't know. I'm highly suspicious of it because I never played the original. And I'm like, well, I kind of don't want to play this one either because in all likelihood it will be inferior and horribly so.
Yeah.
Like, if you look at what I'm inclined to say is compare, and this is not a fair comparison by any means, but it's just the one that happens in my gut. The Resident Evil 3 remake to Resident Evil 3, and I mean 3, not 2. Because 3 is the one that everybody... Because the thing is that when 2 came out, the remake of 2, everybody was astonished that was any good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When 3 came out, people were like, oh yeah, this is what we kind of expected from a remake.
Yeah. I just hope we don't have a Deus Ex 2 Invisible War situation.
Is anybody going to strength? Strength?
Can't.
Oh,
Okay.
right. With no item level.
No item levels. No fun.
Just the worst kind of bull.
So yeah.
I'm just trying to get that gate open so we don't have to play with a dread beast.
Yeah. We should be able to get through after this guy. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm expecting like an abbreviated thing with all of the charm leached out of it, which isn't scary at all because Shodan's going to be like chewing the scenery instead of being creepy.
Oh,
Yeah.
how about that?
Doors
How
open.
about that strength?
Let's go.
Yep, Fern, you can strong.
Okay, I'll strong. Yeah, like there is room for an AI which is ridiculously over the top and hammy, but Shodan's not it.
No, like I don't. I don't need a Hemi AI in System Shock. Like Hemi
No.
AI is for something else. Like Wheatley is not Shodan. They are not the same thing.
Wheatley is just
Yeah,
an idiot.
I'm sitting here thinking of GLaDOS as Shodan.
GLaDOS and Shodan actually do have quite a lot of overlap.
I think that that GLaDOS is not concerned about the outside world all that much.
No,
GLaDOS
she's
just
not.
GLaDOS wants to test things, and
She
that's
wants to
all
do
that GLaDOS
science.
cares about.
She wants to do her science and to be left alone, ultimately.
GLaDOS is not actually malevolent. That was sort of why GLaDOS was a better villain than Wheatley was, because Wheatley was malevolent and for no reason.
Because he's an idiot. Whereas GLaDOS, ultimately just wants to be left alone in the end. She wants to do her
Another
science.
dread beast.
But, yeah, GLaDOS also is incredibly dry in her delivery of, well, everything. Which is really, really fun.
I think it's fun largely though because that's so rare from an American production. Like Americans are incredibly bad at dry humor.
Yes. Mind you,
Yeah,
though,
we're gonna
since Portal...
we're gonna be in loud.
You're good at
Yes.
toilet humor, but that's about it.
Yeah. You guys think Saturday Night Live is funny?
No,
I
nobody.
don't think anybody thinks Saturday Night Live is funny anymore.
It's never been funny. Ever.
In my lifetime,
Years
I don't-
ago, there were individuals on there who were funny.
Individuals.
Like
yes.
back when they let people like Norm Macdonald on there, it was funny.
Let Robin Williams go without a leash. Where he damn near
Robin
killed
Williams
that
was
interviewer.
Robin Williams is just unstable. I don't think Robin Williams independently is. I've never found him like funny in terms of like him acting as a comedian rather than playing a character, because he always just seemed like he was about to start crying or murder somebody. I found it very unsettling.
Okay. Anyway, we should get into some good news then, shall we?
Yeah.
There's not
After
a
we
whole
kill
lot that
Paleon.
there's not a whole lot that we really want to touch on because there's been a few of the big announcements trailer. You got the Warhammer one and the Sony one.
Hug
But-
the danger noodle.
Oh, Danger Noodles.
Hug it, Fern. You're not hugging it close enough. You're gonna die, Fern.
I'm hugging it. I would have been fine. It's fine.
No, you wouldn't have.
No, you wouldn't.
The
If
donuts.
not my
casting
screen.
it- if it's casting it at all, then you're not close enough.
The graphic is a lie. Anyway, so we've had Sony, we've had Warhammer, and honestly, I haven't seen anything out of the Sony one. People seem to be talking about the Warhammer more than the Sony.
Well, that's because people like Warhammer. Nobody likes Sony.
Nobody
They
likes it.
might occasionally like something that Sony publishes, but nobody likes Sony.
Yeah,
Largely because nobody can afford one of their consoles.
nobody can actually find one of their consoles still.
Yeah, and I feel it's unfortunate in its own way because the way the sort of the ARMS graphics card arms race is taking place at the moment, like for the price of a decent graphics card, you can buy a console and all the trimmings.
Yes.
So there's not really any reason for them to rest on their laurels in a market like this, but they kind of are.
Yeah.
Like the arms race that started around the Steam Deck has been kind of interesting. Like it's been strictly superseded by a couple of devices now
Danger
that are
noodle,
both
hug it.
cheaper and better.
Hug it, hug it, hug it.
Oh right, I accidentally ran away because I wasn't paying attention. Oh, it's not
Thankfully,
excitable.
Huh. Okay.
thankfully you can LOS it apparently.
Yeah, I for some reason because I was talking, I thought, oh, this is one of those line of sightable things, right?
Turns out, yes.
No, this is the danger noodle. We hug the danger noodle.
So yeah, we'll talk
Oh,
about.
well, you're living life on the edge there.
I want the treasure chest that could have uni in it
Ooh.
or onion knight.
Hello, Onion Knight. Oh, hello, Ultra Beast.
I mean, it's no uni, but it'll do.
So yeah, I think we'll talk about all those announcements in one big bundle, but we'll figure out what we're doing on that afterwards.
I mean,
Yeah.
I'm always down for more 40k games. The more 40k games come out, the higher the chances that a decent one will come out.
Of the ones that they've announced, though, Speed Freaks does look ridiculous, and I'm credited for that.
I think there's a chance that it will be really good. There's also a high chance it'll be atrocious.
I played
And
the playtest.
It'll end up like Chocobo racing.
Yeah. Like, they put out
That's what I'm afraid of.
Yes. All I wanted to do was race as Steiner. And yes, you can do that once you unlock him, but you're constantly being advertised to, and it's awful. Anyway.
I just want a game that's more engaging than doing this place for the 500th time.
Yeah. But I like doing this place.
I do
like this place.
I haven't done it as many times as you, though, so...
I was able to get in and play a little bit of the Speed Freaks alpha test, and you can drive a tank that fires squiggets.
How can you fit squiggets in a tank magazine?
Not squiggets, just regular squigs, I should say.
Oh, squigs.
How
can you fit squigs in a tank magazine?
Squigs come in all shapes and sizes, and explosives.
I guess I remember back when I was in high school, they did release a squig that was sort of bullet-shaped and was about the right size to fit inside a demolisher cannon.
Yeah. Squigs can do anything, as long as they're, pushed into the right shape.
I'm gonna save these intuitions for the gold sacks on 70+.
Squigs run on orc technology rules. So yeah, it was fun. Just basically it was race to a checkpoint, shoot each other until the game tells you to move on. At which point it would award one team or the other the checkpoint, and then you repeat.
No.
Just for you, Vaul.
Yes.
I feel bad for Uni because Uni always gets left behind in chests.
Poor Uni.
So.
Just for Vaul, I will sacrifice a Doga so we can take Uni with us.
All right.
Come here, ninja.
I won't ask for another Uni. I only need the one Uni.
All right. Since Seraph has mentioned it, let's start with Blizzard.
Oh, before we leave the Warhammer topic,
okay.
There's one more thing. I'm pretty sure I saw that Gladius is free at the moment.
Ooh.
On Steam. So if you don't have it in your library, you could add it. I mean, they're just trying to get you to buy the bajillion DLC packs you've got for it, but...
Run away.
Oh crap, I pressed the wrong button!
That's okay, Doga's got us.
Doga saved me.
It's going to body slam as soon as he gets on bed.
If we hadn't picked up that Uni, where would we be?
Well, you would be flat on the ground.
That's true.
Danger Noodle.
So I'm pretty sure I saw Gladius was free.
Alright. I mean, yeah, okay, it's a DLC bonanza like a lot of the Warhammer games do end up being, but hey, free game.
It's a sort of like a more combat oriented Civ, right, or something like that.
I think that was Gladius. Yeah. It's been a while since I looked at it, so I can't quite remember. All right, so yeah, Blizzard is doing multiple things.
So the big one that everybody's talking about right now is Diablo 4, and I just can't bring myself to care at all.
I thought the big one everybody was talking about was how they flubbed the denouement for their current story arc in World of Warcraft.
Ooh.
Oh, that too.
So basically, they did what they usually do, really.
They did that Blizzard thing.
The Blizzard thing.
Although I've seen a great deal of disagreement on that because World of Warcraft has become incredibly polarized. There are people who have been burned by, multiple sequential bad performances from World of Warcraft and who just hate it now and will heap burning scorn on top of anything that they do. And there are people who are desperately drunk on cope and who will heap praise on everything that they do. And it's sort of hard to tell what's true and what's not, but it's much easier for me to believe the people who are heaping scorn on it.
I'm very, very close for already falling in that camp.
Just to immediately start layering scorn without even looking.
Yeah, because it's just Blizzard. How many ninjas are on this dang floor?
Yes.
All of them.
You will never know. Okay, that one's dead.
Why aren't they dressed in orange? I don't understand. I thought ninjas dressed in orange.
Apparently. These ones don't. Aside from the Blizzard sale actually going through, incidentally, one of the companies that was objecting directly to it apparently had a stake held in Sony. Go figure. Yeah. I'll be glad when that actually happens. We might see some actual change out of Blizzard.
I was standing right next to that trap.
The noodle is very slowly casting. There he goes. He did.
I shouldn't have done that. Oh, never mind. I'll just be warm. It's fine.
I'm. Since we're so close to the boss, I'm going to strong.
Just strong. Key is this way. You gonna stick your head in that room or not bother with it?
I got a landmine.
Unfortunately, we're down lethargy because Ari and I clicked it at the same time.
Whoopsie. Oh yeah, there you go. So, unlike E3, BlizzCon is coming back and in person.
Does anybody care?
No.
Which band of has-been nu metal rockers are they going to get this time?
That is an interesting question.
Is that the only thing worth asking about BlizzCon these days?
Which has been
that, and don't you guys have phones?
Like every time they have a BlizzCon, they do something that is so horrendously memeable, and not in a good way.
The thing is that because they do it like that, they're at the point now where they can claim it was on purpose.
Nobody believes that.
No.
It's too close to the boss to pop an intuition, even if there's one sitting there.
We already have.
We've already got one on this floor. If you pop it now, it will do literally nothing.
It would do absolutely nothing. So that's the thing. That is happening in November 3rd through the 4th.
We will mock what we can from it, but I wouldn't expect us to be too into the announcements unless it's something
really awful.
Is Diablo 4 out? I can't keep track of whether it's released or not.
It's coming next week, I think.
Yeah, it's
right.
It's very close. So they'll probably.
The heck are they even going to talk about?
They'll probably announce a expansion for it, and I think they'd be getting close to due announcing the next WoW expansion.
Nah, they're probably just going to announce like the real money auction house again. Because Blizzard, if we know anything about Blizzard, it's that they can't learn lessons.
The noodle.
The noodle. Yeah, I want to believe that they learned their lesson on the real money auction house thing.
But why would you?
I wouldn't. I just can't. Or more the point, I reckon the lesson they learned is how to be sneakier about it.
How to be a sneaky ninja, like this ninja. Who's not being very sneaky, but is staying out of my range of my provoke.
At least he's not wearing Dayglow orange. Let's go over here. I don't want to chainsaw the lizard.
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of when I'm soloing this place on mech. There's all kinds of wacky hallway placement to ensure that chainsaw doesn't do something pants on head retarded.
Chainsaw and Ricochet are there to kill you.
Ah, we got the lethargy back.
Yay! So that's one thing they're doing against all good advisements. The next is actually something that's a little interesting, and that is adding a hardcore mode to WoW retail.
No,
and we talked about this last week quite a bit, but
yeah,
there's nothing interesting about it because it functionally doesn't exist. Like you can't do it because hardcore mode only works if the game is capable of killing you.
Yeah,
and WoW retail is not capable of killing you.
You can kill yourself.
Why are you guys backing away from the danger noodle?
We're too busy doing news. We're not paying proper attention.
All I have to do is press a button once and I'll be in range. I'm not Fern. I can move.
You and your jam just closes.
When I see y'all running away from the danger noodle, I'm like, oh no, he's gonna noodle all over him.
Oh my.
Oh. So yeah,
I'm gonna re-strong.
Yeah, okay. If you guys have already talked about that, then we don't need to go over it again.
It's just dumb and bad. It's just they put it in because they knew it would be almost no work to do since they'd already done the coding for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just they already bolted it onto Classic. It's not that hard to transpose it and bolt it onto retail.
Yeah.
I don't care about those noodles. Let's go to the boss.
All right, let's go do boss. This is probably going to object.
No, he's not.
Yes, he is.
He's going to object to you.
Because it's fat lion ass, basically.
Apparently he likes... Yeah, lion ass.
Oh my.
He's going to resume the body press.
Oh my.
I was curious if you interrupted the body press itself, what happened?
The only other thing of quick note is, I'm not sure if this was mentioned last week, probably not, is they're putting WoW tokens into Wrath Classic.
Oh no, because they hadn't ruined it enough as it is.
If you wanted
that would be a problem if they had bothered to control the RMT at all.
Yeah, but they didn't. At all. Even remotely.
Dorito, please.
Yeah, I'm looking for the Dorito.
Yep.
Follow the danger Dorito unless you get the tether, break the tether, and then follow the danger Dorito.
Oh, tank notes.
Except in that case, also don't follow the danger Dorito.
Alright.
Break the tether.
Oh, come on.
Oh, it's donut. It's okay, you got Uni.
Thank you,
Uni will
Uni.
save you.
I've shown her a lot of love in the past. She'd be able to save me. What? I don't remember what Raw is at all.
It's the rocks fall from the sky.
Okay. Rocks fall, everyone dies.
Okay, where is the last one? This preposition. And where is the safe spot? Safe spot should be about right here.
Yep. It is such a weird telegraph, that one.
I like the inner one's easier to read because I can use the target circle to find the safe spot. But the outer one I have to eyeball.
Oh, Kitty, you are such a cool mount.
Yep. Just gotta clear it 4 times.
Yep.
And she'll come join you. Oh, I'm ferocity. It is a donut again.
Whoops. Oh, is the server going to let me do it? Yep, okay.
Yeah, you cut that one close.
That's because I have a fat ass.
Rocks fall, everyone dies.
In there, robot.
Not a hard boss, but I do have to look for safe spots. So I can't talk and do this boss at the same time. Okay, preposition. What we gonna do? Oh, this one again. Nope.
No.
Yeah, we're a little far.
We're a
far
little
right.
bit off that one.
That's okay. You got any?
Yay,
And
Uni.
you got a whole tank buster for me to soak before he does anything. And for some reason, Eterna's bullcrap, her vulnerability stacks, they only last 30 seconds. Tether. I do not know why they only last 30 seconds, but they do. Oh, that's point blank. Run away.
Run away.
It's a really fat point blank, too. Why did I just provoke the boss?
Because you wanted the boss to be really angry.
But I like Eterna.
You like your Eterna, the one that looks like Cuddles.
This one sometimes looks like that. It just has to do the donut. Okay, which one are we doing? This one should be right here. That one is much easier to see, because I can just use the stupid targeting circle to find where to go.
Hey, dead kitty.
Didn't even use the raising we had. How about that?
Bye-bye, Uni.
Bye-bye, Uni. Alright. Other bits and pieces we've got is Golem came out, apparently. I completely forgot this game was going to exist.
I've talked about it several times as being sort of like the example of a game nobody asked for, but they poured a mountain of money into anyway for no reason.
Yep.
Yeah,
And it came out being your typical AAA title.
Awful. Very, very bad. To the point where they put out a very schmancy, I guess you could call it, apology tweet. This is the one where they've actually made it a proper card.
We're sorry.
We're sorry. No, that's...
And from what I can tell, what's unique about this one is it isn't that the game was broken like a lot of these companies that put out apology letters. It's just the game was bad.
Yes.
Like really bad.
Like really bad. The thing is, everyone's kind of been down on Lord of the Rings lately because of, Rings of Power being awful.
Well, nobody's down on Lord of the Rings. People are fondly remembering earlier times before everything was terrible. And this just came out and reminded everybody, no, in our day, everything is terrible. And we can only ruin Tolkien's legacy.
You're not allowed to have nice things. You're not allowed to have happy memories. We're going to stain them with this dreck.
This is all some conspiracy to try and make the Hobbit movies look good, isn't it?
It's working. In comparison, the Hobbit movies are actually starting to look pretty good. The Hobbit movies were not good.
Not good at all.
I did not.
The Hobbit wouldn't be good if it was one movie, just like it was one book.
Yeah, it was supposed to be a children's story. It was supposed to be an adventurous romp taking place over the course of one short novel.
Yes. Not this massive world-spanning war thing.
Yep.
Anyway.
So
yeah. Should we read this thing?
If you really want to read the whole apology letter, it's just a light touch of corpo speak with "We're sorry we done goofed."
Yeah, it's like you could save yourself some time just by watching the South Park clip of the guy from BP apologizing for the oil spill.
We're sorry.
Yeah, the actual meat here is not relevant too much. We know why the game is bad. The game mechanics
are
just
bad because it was made badly.
It was made badly from a bad concept with bad people.
Yeah, it is not fun. It's slow. There isn't very much to do in the levels. The story is not good, and it looks like butts. Like every metric you can say this game is bad is at.
And that's been slapped on top of the fact that nobody wanted it to begin with.
Yeah, and nobody at any point seems to have said, "Hang on, shouldn't we make it actually good?"
Well, they probably weren't given much of a brief, to be honest. I doubt there was even much of a design doc behind it.
It was probably
they probably said, "Well, we've got this IP,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like we can get this IP on the cheap for whatever reason, or we already have access to it.
It's probably not they had it on the cheap. They had probably bought it because they thought they could get it before. Like, they had the chance, so they just leapt on it saying, "Oh, well, this is a Lord of the Rings IP, and Lord of the Rings was hot. So we'll just get the IP, we can use it later." And then they realised that they've got this thing kicking about, and they're like, "No, use it up before it expires. Go on."
Yeah, it's a shame. Like, there's some really good Lord of the Rings games out there, like the Battle for Middle Earth. I really enjoyed the Shadow of Mordor. Really, really good.
The PS2 games.
The PS2 games.
The PS2 games were not good.
They were good for the wrong reasons.
They were not good by any stretch of the imagination.
I love playing the PS2 games with friends.
I have them. I have the one for the action game for the Two Towers, and I have the Final Fantasy X clone as well, and they're both somewhere between atrocious and incredibly mediocre.
They are dreck, but they are entertaining dreck.
I only played the action games, but I played them with friends because you could play them with people.
Yeah.
And the games are, their mechanics are so busted that you can do some really funny stuff by accident when you're playing them.
I actually enjoyed going through the story mode games because it was either, you had the two options. Sometimes they got just ripped lines from the movies, and other times they couldn't get the rights to do that or to get the voice actors, so they had like Aragorn played by Bob from accounting or something like that, and it sounded exactly like you'd expect that to sound.
Yeah.
It was great.
Conker's Bad Fur Day.
But Conker's Bad Fur Day was voiced entirely by one guy and occasionally his wife.
Point is, somehow Gollum was even worse than all of that.
Yes. Like the other,
which is almost an impressive achievement from a certain point
those
of view.
games have that B-movie greasy charm.
Well, you can tell that they were movie tie-ins because the property was hot at the time.
Yes.
and it was just a carbon copy of Gauntlet for the N64, except ported to PS2.
We don't talk about that. Shush.
So, so yeah, that's a thing. I don't know how much there is to really say about it. When we weren't really following Gollum, and it was just kind of orbiting around us.
I admit, I completely forgot it existed.
I was waiting to see how bad it would be when it came out because I sort of resented its existence as a project, and it did not disappoint, or rather, it disappointed enough not to disappoint. So, yeah, I'm gleeful about this, and it went exactly as I expected, exactly as everybody expected at this point. And this story is basically another tally mark in the column of AAA games that turned out to be exactly as bad as we expect these days.
Yeah.
Just put another one up on the We Called It scoreboard.
Yeah. It's not a scoreboard we want.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I guess, I can quickly tangent into another little nugget I have. I don't actually have an article specifically for it. But this is your weekly dose of Wizards of the Coast being Wizards of the Coast.
Oh boy.
Yeah, they've announced that they're going to basically be doing a 20% price hike across the board for all their products.
Yeah, because people didn't already shed them all.
Yes. We actually miss a Watsy of the Week a couple of weeks back, actually, too. Where they won the most ethical company in the world award.
Uh-huh.
From who, BlackRock?
Close enough. The award is issued by a company that you, as the one, that Watsy actually, I should say, had to pay to get nominated, then had to pay each of the judge for their vote, and then pay to receive the award. So essentially, Watsy bought themselves an award that says they're the most ethical company in the world.
What possibly could go wrong?
What possibly could go wrong? How would people not think to actually look at the validity of this award? So, yeah, it's that Obama giving himself a medal meme all over again.
I don't even think he gave it to himself. I think he was just as shocked as everybody else. Like, why the F am I getting a Nobel Peace Prize?
Yeah, I think he was actually at the time.
Now, if you want me to go on a tangent about all the stuff Obama did,
I don't think that Fern does want you to do that.
No, I do not.
Hang on, let me just. My character has a very good emote for this.
So as does mine, and I have it on the hotbar. I'm just gonna die. That's fine. I'm just dead. So yeah, it's just meme worthy, that one. But Wizards of the Coast honestly needs. I don't know what they need at this point. They need help.
What they need is to break their leg trying to recover from this is what they need.
Yeah,
that's about the only thing that'll teach them.
Sooner or later, they are going to fall on their face in a way that they cannot recover from without some sort of major overhaul. Interesting. I did actually go on a little adventure while I was on the coast, and that was when I went looking for a Pathfinder core rulebook just to see if they were there. They are still not available. They are still completely sold out. Everywhere.
Well, people don't want to use that Wizards of the Coast crap no more.
Nope. They are being snapped up as fast as Paizo can print them. And they're a big book. They take a while to print. So
it's not really the printing that takes a long time. It's the fact that the big book takes a long time to QC.
Yes. It is a very, very big book. But actually, the one of the nerd shops I went into had full stock of D&D books. And I think they had one copy of Vampire the Masquerade because obvious. But everything else, all the other systems they had, completely sold out. So it's rather telling. Even the weird little no-name ones.
What's he just like to beclown themselves, I guess? I mean, it's not like White Wolf is any better. I don't know, does White Wolf still own Vampire the Masquerade? Or
I think they do.
Since they are way more woke than Watsy.
Oh yeah, they are kind of the poster child for it.
Yeah, but they're the ones that posted a note in their rulebook saying that Nazis weren't allowed to play.
Fascists. Yes, still owned by White Wolf. So yeah, and honestly,
I feel bad for people who are actually fascist at this point because they probably just hold to a particular political theory, and it's not any worse than all the commies that run White Wolf, but they've just been tarred with this definition of fascist means that doesn't mean you've got particular theories about state corporate cooperation. What it actually means is that you're a bad person who eats kittens and puppies.
yeah, it doesn't actually
I
mean.
mean, don't get me wrong, it's a pretty dumb political theory in a lot of ways, but I mean that's what happens if you take Italian advice on politics.
Maybe they just really like spaghetti from
Yeah, could
like
be.
the 1940s.
Oh no, but yeah, that word does not mean what people think it means.
Most words don't mean what people say them as, but
Yes.
you have to learn how to interpret in real time.
No, I
these
don't
days.
think that's the problem. I think the fact is that they purposefully destroyed the word because it would be useful for their purposes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that's how a lot of this works.
Yeah.
Not that I haven't read Knowles' book on the topic like you have.
So anyway,
Yeah.
I think that's all the embarrassment Watsy's done this week. But as far as companies failing goes, like Blizzard's been in a rut for a while and they've been doing awful things. But
What's he feeling left out?
Watsy seems to be speed running to the bottom at this point.
Yeah, but where are they? They're in Seattle, right? Yeah, so they're
yes.
sort of, yeah.
It's just like, do you guys even think at all before you open your mouths? Maybe just stop and actually consider what you're doing.
No, well the thing is, it's not about. I think Oren McIntyre wrote about this recently, or did a thing about this recently. But it's not about the company. The company is not woke. It's the CEOs and the VPs that are woke, because being woke looks really good on your resume if you're a CEO or a VP or whatever, and you want to move diagonally upwards at some other company. Like,
Yeah,
you want to be woke because that's a selling point. It doesn't matter that you burned a company to the ground by being woke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So long as you're woke, you are still saleable, because that's the only way you can advance if you're in a really high position in a company, right? Is that you have to leave that company and then get taken on by somebody else, and the only way that you can do that really is by making a name for yourself. And these days, the fashionable managerial trend is to be woke.
And in addition to that, being woke gets you on your resume. I got our ESG score up.
Yeah, because that's worth money. You get investment from BlackRock and others like it, who go by that system to determine how safe an investment a company is. And being woke is one of their things. That it might not, in practical terms, result in increased revenues for your company, but it will result in increased investor confidence, because the big hedge funds only look at the score, and the score gives positive rating for being woke.
Though in the case of the head of Hadbro's, Chris Cox, he's got woke going, but I don't think that's his biggest problem. I think he's just an idiot.
There are a lot of idiots, because I mean, at the same time as people are getting promoted out, you've got to replace them, right? Which means that you're going to sooner or later bring the Peter Principle into play.
Yeah. Sometimes you have someone you can't fire, but you just promote them to get them out of the way.
Yeah, and then they get promoted to a position where they're totally incompetent.
Yeah. In some cases, they'll rise to the challenge. That's a rare thing.
Usually they don't. Like, I feel, having been promoted myself this year, I feel my incompetence is very, very keenly.
Yes.
And I think eventually I might be able to rise to the occasion, but it's going to take me a while to develop the skill set required, because it's hard to bolt on a totally new skill set that you don't have.
Mm-hmm. It takes
Tell
time.
me about it. Man, I'm glad I'm through that phase.
Yeah, like
That was,
the auditor actually said specifically, "Oh, your lab manager's got an absolutely exemplary knowledge of the work that you do and all the methods." But they did not say anything complimentary about my managerial skills, since my managerial skills are trash.
Yeah. Thank goodness people management was not on the papers for me when I finally took over everything. In fact, everybody left when I took over, and I was quite happy with that.
Well, it's a whole bunch of additional salaries. You don't have to pay people to do nothing.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I had to learn how to do accounting.
We've got any other stories to look at here?
Not really. I threw the Netflix thing in there in case we needed to fish, but I think we're pretty good.
I think
We're
The Power Wash Simulator.
Yeah, I just
We're
threw
at
that
3
one up
hours, by
because
the
it's
way,
like,
so,
of all the things to do a crossover for, Warhammer and Power Wash Simulator.
There's no one that Power Wash Simulator won't cross over with.
Well-
I bet they just wrote to every company with a popular IP.
You're
Yeah, they
gonna
got
be,
Tomb Raider, Warhammer,
SpongeBob,
yeah, SpongeBob, Steam itself,
Final Fantasy.
some horror game, Velocity Supernova. What the heck is that? Oh, that's one of their other games with the same company.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're crossing over with anybody they can get their fingers on.
I mean,
I think they probably just wrote to everybody and say, "Look, we'll just do a thing. Just give us your name because it's mutually beneficial arrangement, right? The company probably gets next to free advertising because it probably they aren't offering any money for it, or if they are, it'll be a trivial sum to do the crossover. The company offering the IP is just like, well, they get free advertising, and the company that's proposing the idea, the Power Wash guys, are like, well, I mean, this IP will just attract another audience to our game,
Yeah.
so it's a win-win on both sides for very little effort, all told.
and
Yeah.
for everyone who's still already got the games, goes, well, this is stupid, I'll play it.
As long as
Yeah,
you don't
'cause,
cross over
what-
with something.
Once you've bought one Power Wash DLC, I guess you're gonna buy another one.
I think most of them are free,
Yeah.
aren't they?
I don't know.
I'll have to look.
It's about
Either
getting
way.
eyes on the game in the studio, regardless.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't have a problem with companies doing the mass
Well,
crossovers
this
for
isn't.
stuff like
It's
that, but
silly, but it doesn't hurt anybody.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
not. It's not resulting in games coming out incomplete, which is what actual development seems to result in these days.
Yeah. Silly but harmless is fine.
Yeah, if you want to cross over with, Octodad or something with your Power Wash game, go for
Oh,
it.
Listen,
that sounds like
listen.
a
If you want,
nightmare.
all you need to do is create like a Type Moon crossover, and you sold me Power Wash Simulator. Like, this is not a hard challenge.
Yeah, except if they do that, odds are you're going to be power washing Romulus or something like that, because
Which would be hilarious.
it would be, and also horrific.
Spartacus, not so much.
No. At least Romulus doesn't talk.
You must remove all the oppressive dirt from his glistening
Romulus
abs.
talks. He's just always talking about Roma.
Rome, yes, he's talking constantly about Roma. Actually, more likely
Because
you'll be,
power washing too is Rome.
it is. Actually, yeah, and more likely you'll be power washing Gilgamesh's Shiny Things collection,
I don't
which
think
may
there's
or may not
anybody
include
doing
Romulus.
My dad was power washing today.
I don't
that. Well,
mind
somebody's got to wash. Somebody's got to wash Gilgamesh's Vimana, I suppose. The flying platform he likes to sit on.
Yes. Will he get off it while you're power washing it? No.
You have to power wash the black sludge that Lancelot from Zero puts
Yes.
on everything while he's driving it.
He will wash around him, me mongrel.
You just hear the car horn noises he makes while you're power washing the plane.
Seshu. Anyway,
Okay.
this is getting silly.
Yeah, we're at
I don't
3 hours.
I don't think I can think of anything else worth talking about.
No, but again, there's a lot of stuff coming, but not there yet.
I'm not excited about any of it though. I'm just waiting for Fate Extra Record and Fate Samurai Remnant, and I don't really care about any other upcoming games.
Yeah,
What is-
me and Vol are just waiting for stuff in the franchises we already play.
Like I'm
Largely,
interested in Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, but I don't believe it'll ever come out.
They
Yeah,
got another
they
trailer
say-
this week.
They say this winter, but I've heard that before.
The only other little bit of news I really came across this week was about a little farming simulator game, except you're a caveman. But because it's a farming simulator game, the Harvest Moon guys decided to try and claim copyright over it.
The cavemen, like, definitionally didn't farm.
No.
That's why they're cavemen.
Yes. Do you think they can stop that? I think we're looking at a Flintstones level technology here.
Also, everybody has a car, but you power it by your feet.
Yes.
I see.
It's Stone Age in that it's stone, yet somehow still runs.
Stone Age is the way that a lot of things are made of stone for some reason.
Yes. And everyone's wearing animal skins, but beyond that, everything is still modern.
I am now reminded of the Snowhalation / Flintstones theme mashup that had a whole chorus come in and sing the Flintstones theme to the tune of Snowhalation.
That's interesting.
Yes. And
I'll try and find this and post it in live show chat at some point.
Is Blue Protocol coming out anytime soon? People were talking about it a lot.
I thought it was.
Gone silent on it. Because a lot of people are looking forward to that, but I haven't heard much about it for a while.
I think it's out now, isn't it?
I think it was in beta or something.
Let's see. No to launch. Coming 2024, but that's not an actual date. That's
it's delayed to 2024.
Okay.
Delayed to 2024 for the West. It's coming out June 14th for Japan.
Yeah, so it's basically Genshin again.
Yeah. It's looking more and more like it as development went on.
Yes, it's just a slightly different theming.
But it's made by Bandai Namco, so you're not going to be giving money to the CCP if you play it.
Not directly, because Amazon is involved,
Well,
remember?
Yeah, Amazon is involved, and who even knows how much of Bandai Namco is owned by Tencent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scamco is Scamco. So
So yeah, it's
alrighty.
It's Genshin, but not Genshin. But anyway, let us get out of here.
All right. Sarah, you can write to us about all those things you said you wanted to write to us about. That's your email topic of the week.
Yay!
So, I think we'll go to closing comments and get out of here because we're running really late.
It's not that late. We've gone worse.
Bandai Namco is entirely owned by Bandai Namco Holdings Incorporated.
Ooh.
So it's entirely Japanese owned. If I understand what I'm reading, that is.
They're such a mixed bag as a developer, though. Like sometimes they make some really great stuff, and other times they just phone it in.
These days, I'm just counting sheer xenophobia as a plus when it comes to Japanese companies, because anytime the West or China gets involved, it becomes contaminated.
Yeah, just you guys make what you want. Don't let anyone else tell you what to make.
I mean, on the downside, they do own the Sword Art Online franchise, and they keep trotting out those crappy games.
Oh yeah, but
I mean, they own Dark Souls as well, so
they do.
Yeah, it's yeah.
But they also
It's
been
all
making
about
the
the
same
develop-
Shonen Jump game over and over for the last 10 years.
well, they own Shonen Jump. What are you going to do?
Yeah. Ask them to make a different game.
Well, they would be doing it with Kamen Rider if anybody in the West knew what Kamen Rider was.
Hell yeah, I'd play that. I need to find somewhere I can actually watch freaking Kamen Rider.
I'm sure there'll be a Bob's that has it.
Where's my tablet? I need to do some science. I mean, meaning to do it. It's like Power Rangers, but better. Anyway, we shall wrap up then.
Yep. I think we're done, folks. We will see y'all next week. We'll see what we do about the announcement stuff. We'll probably won't be too much, but we'll hit the highlights and try and get you something.
Yeah.
So we'll see you next week.
Optimistic.
Yeah.
Timing is going to be everything.
We'll see you next week, folks. Sayonara. Bye-bye.